Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Team 7 backstabbed Naruto during the Wave Mission Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Several miles from borders of Wave Country, a knockdown drag-out fight was going on between the members of Team 7 and the mercenary ninjas Zabuza and Haku. Sasuke Uchiha was already down, and Naruto Uzumaki was going at it against Haku. Dodging her icy attacks, the blonde ninja rushed forward and tackled her right out of the ice mirror dome, shattering them. He slammed her into the ground right in front of Zabuza and Kakashi right before Haku lashed out and punched Naruto right in the neck, stunning him as Kakashi suddenly rushed forward to throw a Chidori against his body, blasting him into the surging river. The fight stopped suddenly as Haku gasped in horror at what the masked jounin had just done to his own student. She rushed over to the side of the fiercely rushing river. "No!" she cried out. "Who cares about a dead last?" He was holding Sasuke back, said Kakashi coldly. "Dead last? How dare you, Kakashi? He did far better than your other two brats." Zabuza spat. "If he were my student, I'd have shown him greater respect." "Come on, Haku, let's go," he said in disgust. The pair vanished into the mist as Tazuna just looked at the remaining member of Team 7. Holding the same thoughts, the old bridge builder walked back to his home. The rest of the team just looked somewhat confused but followed their client to his home. Naruto's injured body floated down the river, the young boy barely alive after getting blindsided by an energy sphere thrown by his own sensei, and was fortunate to get his jacket caught by a floating tree trunk that brought him to the shore of New Whirlpool. Secretly established after the old Whirlpool village had been destroyed, the blonde boy was the first new ninja visitor that they had received. He was still unconscious and half alive as someone came upon him. It was a girl with long strawberry blonde hair, blue eyes and peach-colored skin. She was dressed in a belly shirt, low-rise jeans, sandals and a black headband with a swirl on it. The girl dragged Naruto to shore and gasped at who it was. "And Naranizan," she gasped. Focusing her chakra into her muscles, she carefully picked up the blonde boy and quickly carried him to the hospital. The Yuzakage of New Whirlpool was a tall woman with reddish-orange hair and blue eyes. She was dressed in a long orange and black jacket, cargo pants, black sandals, and a black headband with a swirl on it. She had been at the hospital when the female rescuer and her unconscious cargo arrived. Rushing over to help the person, she had no way of knowing he was someone she wanted to see ever since he was born. "Where did you find him?" she said as the rescuer got there. "Floating outside of the village," Naruto's rescuer said. "I think it's Naruto Nizan." The female Kage gasped in shock. "Naruto?" she asked. She took a quick but good look at him, and gasped again when she realized that it was her son, Naruto. "Get me the best healers in the village, now!" she shouted, her fingers tracing the Chidori hole in the side of his stomach. The healers arrived quickly and began to help him. It was a full day before Naruto woke up and saw the face of a beautiful woman standing over him. Red eyes and tear marks stained her face, which told Naruto she had been crying. This naturally confused him. "Hello, little one," she said to him. "Little one?" he asked, wondering where the oddly motherly tone was coming from. "I've wanted to see you ever since you were born. If it wasn't for Erasure, I'd be dead," she said. Seeing loss and confusion in his eyes, the red-haired woman spent the next half hour telling Naruto everything. Naruto then spent the same amount of time telling the woman the story of his life up until now. At the end of their stories, she was hugging the boy tightly as she apologized for leaving him alone in such a hateful village. Naruto himself was crying into the woman's chest, hugging her just as tight. "There's nothing I can do to change the past," she said to him. "But I can make up to it." "What? How?" "I'll train you to be strong." "Really? You'll train me?" he said. She nodded and he smiled, "But we wouldn't have enough time." "Do you know the Kage Bunshin?" she asked. "Yes," he replied. "We'll have enough time," she smirked. It was a decent day and the remaining members of Team 7 were doing their jobs. Tazuna was trying to get the village to finish the bridge, and the ninja team was keeping an eye out for trouble. Of course, they had no idea they were being watched as well. It had been a week since the group had reached the village, and in that time the Konoha ninjas had had nothing but guard duty to do. Kakashi continued to train Sasuke while Sakura cheered him on. 2 days back, Kakashi got the strange feeling that they were being watched, but thought that maybe the other villagers were doing the watching. It was noon on the 7th day when Tazuna, Sakura, Sasuke and Kakashi returned to Tazuna's house. They saw 3 people sitting on the stoop talking to Inari, Tazuna's grandson, and Tsunami, his daughter. One was dressed in a red kimono with black hakama pants, tabi socks and sandals. Another was dressed in a belly shirt, low-rise jeans and sandals. The last was dressed in a red and black Under Armour sleeveless top, red leather, flaring tights, a sleeveless, zipped hoodie, leather gauntlets and a nose and mouth mask. The girls had strawberry blonde hair, blue eyes and peach-colored skin. The guy had his hood up so they couldn't see his hair and eyes. All 3 had on a headband on their person, which marked them as ninjas. The girls had theirs on their foreheads and the guy had his on his arm. Team 7 and Tazuna approached them, and realized the trio were armed. The first girl in the kimono had a katana and a short sword on her hip, making her look like a samurai. The more modern girl had wrap-around holsters on her hips with nickel-plated 27 Glocks and extra clips. The guy had a sawed-off, pistol grip, pumped shotgun down his leg, a compact bow with a quiver of arrows, tied to his back, 2 Glocks and waist holsters under the hem of his hoodie, and a katana sheathed across the small of his back. When the trio looked at the approaching Team 7, they grimaced. "I take it you're the team from Konoha?" asked the modern girl. Team 7 nodded as Tazuna walked over to his daughter and grandson. The samurai girl rolled her eyes and scoffed at them. She looked at the guy. "These are the little brats that left you to die?" she asked. He nodded in response while Tsunami and Inari told Tazuna what was going on. "Hey now, I don't know what you are talking about," Kakashi said. The man growled and started spouting off before the samurai spoke. "You mean to tell us that you don't remember tossing one of your own students into the river leaving him to drown, after shooting a Chidori into his stomach?" the guy said, lowering his hood to reveal golden blonde locks, blue eyes, and faint whisker marks behind his mask. Hate emanated from them as tears fell as well. But he wasn't crying as a sign of weakness, not because he hated his ex-teammates. He was crying because they forced him to hate them with all of his being. The samurai patted his shoulder trying to calm him down. "It is all right, Naruto. It is all right." Sasuke scoffed. "Humph, wimp." Quick as a snap, all 3 of them had their weapons jabbed into Sasuke's face. The guy and the modern girl had guns on his temples as the samurai had her short sword at his neck. "Naruto is more of a man than you'll ever be," said the modern girl. "He is sad because you forced him to hate you and he hates himself for it." The samurai girl. "I will never forgive you," he growled, causing them to jump back as he bared his fangs. He seemed almost like an animal. "Including you, Kakashi-sensei." "Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Kakashi-san." He was shaking slightly as he turned away from them. "Hinaranizen, I really want to kill them right now." "Easy, Naruto, everything will be alright," Hinara said. "I don't see why he wants to attack us," said Sakura. "We never did anything to him." The trio looked at the pink-haired girl with stunned shock. "Don't tell me you guys are so stupid that you haven't figured out who he is?" said the samurai girl. However, the 3 members of Team 7 were just clueless. "Oh God! Naruto, take off your mask." Reholstering his weapons, he removed his nose and mouth mask. "Good Lord, they have been calling me Naruto for the past few minutes," Naruto nearly shouted, the group gasping when they saw Naruto's face. "You'd think the other hints we dropped would have been enough to clue you in. Have you forgotten what I looked like already? But I guess it doesn't matter, since you all hate me for your own reasons," he said, turning to Elder Ninja first. "Kakashi, you hate me because you think I took your sensei away, who was my freaking father, by the way. He didn't give the Cycloptic Nin time to think about that. You're just like the rest of that damned village. You're so filled with hate and anger that you can't tell the difference between a demon and its jail." "You better watch your mouth, boy," he said, moving towards Naruto, only to have the girls turn on him, gun in his face, sword at his neck. "You attack my brother and I will blow your face off," said Naruto's sister. Kakashi backed off, more scared of the girls than their weapons. "Truth hurts, doesn't it?" Naruto said before turning to Sakura. I did everything for you and all you thought about was Sasuke. That's what makes it funny, he doesn't give a fuck about you," he snapped, causing the pink-haired girl to stumble back. "Unless you can train him to kill his brother, Itachi." He paused for a second and turned to Sasuke. "And yes, I know about that." He then turned back to Sakura. "And then maybe you'd get a thank you." "A thank you, that's all? Because I think he's either gay or a eunuch." The girls giggled as Sakura and Sasuke got mad. "I mean, hell, he's pretty much brushed off every girl that's offered themselves up to him," he said, turning to the raven-haired boy. "And lastly, the master of the house, the lord of the manor, the god king of Konoha, and all because of a little red eye. Naruto closed his eyes and sent chakra to them. After a few seconds he opened his eyelids, revealing that his eyes were now gold with a black swirl in them. The group gasped, more from the fact that his sisters had them as well. This is called Madigan, the target eye. It'll show where your weaknesses are and where's the best place to hit for a knockout, or death. He closed his eyes and sent chakra to them once again. This time when he opened them, his eyes were green with 6 golden commas. The bloodline eye, like the Sharingan, it's a copy eye, but this copies bloodlines. So guess what? You're not that special. There are others. Sasuke got mad, realizing that if Naruto was right, then his greatest advantage was gone. Oh yeah, I better introduce my sisters. This is Naruko, he indicated the modern girl. The other one is Hinaru. They curtly nodded their heads at the trio. Sisters? That's impossible. You're an only child, Kakashi said right before a new voice filled the air. Well, that's strange, because I gave birth to triplets, the female voice said. Kakashi froze, nearly pissing and crapping his pants at hearing the familiar voice. He turned to the woman and swallowed hard. Hi Kushina, he said to the fire-haired woman. Don't hi me, you prick, she spat. You've always hated the fact that Minato had a family. Get over it. Humph, doesn't matter, the dobe will never be better than me, Sasuke said. The group looked at the raven-haired boy, as if they thought he was crazy. You want to prove that, emo boy? Said the dobe. I'll be fair, I won't use my Madigan. Let's go then, said the emo boy. Naruto took off all his weapons and hoodie, handing them to the fire-haired woman. He nodded at them as both he and Sasuke stepped away from the group to a small clearing free of any trees or bushes. Naruto had finished stretching, his body lean and powerful, ready for his fight. Alright, let's go, Sasuke, he said. Across the way, Sasuke was mad at the insults Naruto threw at him. He growled, but got ready to fight. Without a second thought he rushed towards Naruto, killing intent in his eyes. He threw punch after punch, kick after kick, only to have Naruto duck and dodge everything the Uchiha air threw. Kicking up dust into Naruto's eyes, the blonde was blinded for a second, allowing Sasuke to leap into the air and execute a devastating technique. Fire style, grand fireball technique. Sasuke shouted as a huge fireball exploded from his body and enveloped Naruto the second it hit him. Sasuke landed and grinned at the bonfire behind him. Humph. Guess that shows who the dobe is, huh? Just then he heard laughter coming from the flames. Everyone looked at the bonfire as it blew away, revealing Naruto. However, something was different. He was taller, powerful looking, and covered in metal. I thought you said you wouldn't use your bloodline, Sasuke shouted. I said I wouldn't use my Madigan, Naruto stated. This is my steel body. Every member of my family has this ability. Right, guys? He said, as the girls and Kushina started to transform into tall, metallic beings. Yes, Naruto-kun, they said. Sasuke growled. Naruto's outfit wasn't even scorched. Now I guess it my turn, huh? Naruto asked, raising his hands and bringing them down, wind style, razor gale technique. The winds picked up and surrounded Naruto. The gale force increased in speed, sending grass and pieces of wood flying in every direction. Kushina and the others just squinted their eyes, as if it was nothing. Sakura, however, had to cover her entire face. Suddenly, the winds constricted and blasted from Naruto's body, cutting down everything in its path. The impact knocked Sasuke back into a tree as Naruto smirked. It's over, Sasuke. Wind and steel style, bring the pain, he shouted as he rushed forward with intense power. Sasuke could barely blink, out of pride over what was about to happen. He wanted to see it coming. What he saw was nothing but a furious blur of fists and feet, and all he felt was the lightning-fast, sledgehammer blows that connected to every part of his body. Amazingly, the technique left his clothes untouched, though his body, arms, legs and face showed visual scars. Now the finishing blow, Naruto shouted as he leapt at Sasuke. Just then they heard chirping birds. Hinaru saw it happen and quickly rushed to block it with her body, her blade drawn within a second. The force of the block knocked the cycloptic ninja back into a tree. Naruto grabbed Sasuke by his shirt and was about to put the Uchiha heir into a coma. Time to say goodnight, bitch, he said. Just then Kushina stopped him, by grabbing his arm. Naruto, that's enough, she said, causing the blonde to drop the Uchiha. The hate in him was still present, for which Kushina could understand. But had she let Naruto take out Sasuke, he would be a murderer, and she didn't want that. She then went over and slapped Kakashi in the face. You're pathetic, Kakashi. Your precious Uchiha must not be so special if you have to get involved. Do that again and I'll make you wish you were dead. Naruto wins the match via disqualification. That's not fair, screamed Sakura. Kakashi was going to kill my son, said Kushina. You think that was fair? But he's just a dope, the girl shouted. This earned her a hard slap from the older woman. When we get back to Konoha, and yes, I am coming with you, he is leaving that village for good, Kushina shouted. With that, everyone went back into the house to settle down. It was then that the group learned that Naruto and his sisters had arrived at Tazuna's house in the morning when Team 7 had left to go for the village, and Kushina had sent a spy to watch over the group 2 days prior. The next morning, the rest of Team 7 got up, headed out with Tazuna to the bridge as Tsunami asked, shouldn't Naruto-kun and his family go with you guys? He'll only drag us down, Sasuke said. Inari scoffed. You're just mad, bro, beat you senseless, he said. Sasuke was about to beat the kid senseless, but Kakashi and Sakura dragged him back out. After this mission, I'm going to make sure every wave mission either goes to New Whirlpool or to Naruto himself, said Tazuna. Then they left for the bridge. Later, after Kushina had gotten up and looked around, she grimaced. Damn. They left us, she thought, though she shouldn't have been surprised. She quickly went to get the others up. Those jerks left us, she said. Everyone, get dressed. Something's going on. They all got up and headed downstairs, arming themselves. Getting outside, they saw a couple thugs leading Tsunami away. Naruto quickly pulled out his guns and swiftly curved the bullets, one, hitting both in the back and knocking them down. Get Tsunami! Naruto shouted. Naruto quickly did and brought her back to them. Are you alright? Naruto asked the woman. Where's Inari? She said as the boy came over to her and hugged her tightly. Mom, they are going to need protection, Naruto said. Kushina nodded and used a special high-pitched flute to call her family to send protectors for them. Waiting nearly a mile away, a half-dozen ninjas quickly appeared at Tazuna's house. Kushina gave them some quick instructions before turning to her family. Let's go, Kushina said, the group heading out as the ninjas used genjutsus to make themselves invisible to the naked eye. The quartet quickly ran towards the bridge, where they found both Kakashi and Sasuke on the ground, bleeding from various wounds. Somehow I'm not surprised, Kushina groaned. That was bad enough, but when she saw Sakura abandon Tazuna, she started seeing red. Forget your duty, you just have to save your precious Uchiha, she growled. Turning to the others, she said, let's go. The group charged towards Zabuza and Haku, blasting through the icy mirrors and dispelling the thick cloud of mist in seconds. What the Zabuza groaned as his body was pummeled with unrelenting force from Kushina. Within the span of a few seconds, the bandaged ninja was on the ground bleeding and unconscious. Across the way, Naruto had knocked down Haku after his sisters had blasted her ice mirrors, standing over her with his gun pointed at her mask. You're alive! Haku gasped when she realized it was Naruto standing over her. Yes. I am, Naruto said, vaguely remembering something about the masked woman. Specifically how she had called out to him when Kakashi had hit him with the Chidori. Why don't you kill me? Haku asked, staring down the barrel of the gun. I don't kill those I respect, Naruto said, flipping his gun around, catching the barrel and slamming the butt into her forehead, knocking her out cold. The fight was over as a short, fat man in a suit walked onto the bridge. Looks like Zabuza fucked it up again, he said, and then noticed Naruto and his family. Then he got scared. Oh crap. I thought they were dead. Kill them, now! He shouted at the army of thugs he had brought with him. The army charged towards the group of ninjas, who only looked at them and smiled. Take a seat, you three, Naruto said to the rest of Team 7. We'll show you how it's done. The family charged down the thugs as the rest of their clan showed up. Within a second, the fight was on. A man who looked like Minato came at one group and blazed through them like a hot knife through butter. He carried a pair of twin kodachis in his hands. Other ninjas came out of nowhere and slashed through the thugs using various weapons of their own. Suddenly, more people from the Wave Village arrived, and, directed by Tazuna, took down the rest of Gato's army. This left the fat man in the black suit alone and alive. Before he could run, he was surrounded by 5 people with guns pointed at his head. Game over, Gato, said Naruto, right before he pulled the trigger and killed the shipping boss. He put his guns away as he looked over to Team 7 as the man who looked like Minato walked over to the visually shaken Kakashi and decked the cycloptic ninja in the face. You son of a bitch! My brother had a family. He didn't have time to hold your hand and lead you through like to do the job Sakumo couldn't do, he said to the stunned Kakashi. He died saving your ass from a biju he sealed into his own son. Yes, Naruto is Minato's son. And this is how you choose to honor your fallen teacher? The world doesn't revolve around you or those cocksucking Uchihas. Live with it. With that finally said, he left and went over to Naruto. I can't wait until you come to live with us in New Whirlpool, he said to the boy. The clan stayed on and helped Tazuna and the village finish building the bridge. They even made plans to build a bridge to New Whirlpool as well. After the plans were made, they paid Konoha for a B-ranked mission but paid Naruto S-ranked price. That made Team 7 rather jealous as they headed back to Konoha. Once there, Kushina, Hinaru and Naruto went with them to the Hokage Tower. On the way the villagers were pointing and whispering about the new people. The group walked into the Hokage's office, which Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura were thrown out of on orders from the third Hokage. As they waited, Sasuke was fuming about everything that had happened, and planned to demand that Kushina teach him her clan bloodline moves. An hour later, the Namikaze clan walked out with key to the Namikaze clan manor. That was when Sasuke stopped them. What do you want, Uchiha? Kushina asked. Teach me that steel body thing, he said. She stared at him indignantly. You want me to teach you a family clan jutsu? Goodbye. How dare you? I'll take my demands to the council, and he shouted right before a bullet grazing his cheek, causing him to shut up. I am a Kage of my own village. If I say no, that means a no. Goodbye, Uchiha. With that they walked away. Kushina was fuming as she walked to her manor. I can't believe that spoiled brat. She spat. What did Sasuke do now? Said Naruto. Demanded that I teach him a clan jutsu. Everyone looked over to her. What? They gasped. That's right. He thought because he was an Uchiha he'd get our secrets. Wouldn't be surprised if he whined to council, said Erasure. Just like he said, Sasuke went to the council and told them that he had a chance to get stronger and better, but had been refused. Distressed by this, the council called for the person that wouldn't train him. Kushina and company, Naruto, Naruto, Hinaru, and Erasure, arrived in the council chambers. Naturally, when they arrived, the council members were surprised, but not more than Danzo. I thought she died, he thought as she stood before the council. Yes, what do you want? Kushina asked, more than a little miffed at the group of old men. Why is it that you won't train Uchiha-kun? Said a council member. Why don't you ask the other heads of the clans why they won't train Sasuke? She asked. Well, they can't because their moves are clan moves. So why are we so special? She said. If Minato were alive you wouldn't be doing this now, would you? So no, I will not train Sasuke, my family will not train Sasuke. Then you cannot train the Da. I am the Yuzukage of New Whirlpool. Naruto is my son. Not your weapon, scapegoat, punching bag, or target. He is my precious son, and yes, my husband, his father, had sealed the Kyuubi into him. However, during their mission to Wave Country, after Kakashi had tried to kill him with the Chidori, he came to New Whirlpool where we had the fox removed. It's back in hell, happy and living in peace with the other demons. She glared at the council. This is Naruto Namikaze, the heir to the Namikaze/Uzumaki clans, she said as she placed her hand on the blonde boy's shoulder. Her remarks having hit the stunned council, Kushina and her family turned to leave. However, before she was out the doors, Kushina stopped. Oh. One more thing, Naruto's going to resign being a Leaf Shinobi and will join Whirlpool's ranks. Everyone was shocked. What's the matter? Kushina asked. I thought you would be doing backflips and throwing a party over it. But he can't, shouted a council member. Why not? Kushina asked them. The council member couldn't come up with an answer. At least not one that would satisfy. You want him gone. The village wants him gone. The demon will leave or you show my son, no, my family, respect. The council didn't say anything, just glared at the woman. Then we have nothing else to say. With that she left along with her family. As they walked out into the waiting room, Sasuke looked at her and smirked. Kushina looked at the boy with indifference, realizing that he was smirking because he had no idea what had just happened inside the council chamber. "Your pathetic little whining tactic failed," she said to the raven-haired boy. "I'm still not going to train you. They are my clan's moves. Last time I checked, you are an Uchiha. Hell, you scream it to anyone who gives a damn. I don't give damn about you, who your family is, or was, or even what happened to your family," she said, turning into all steel. "This is my family, my clan, and no gay-ass emo boy that lets the council suck his cock is going to tell me what you do," she spat, towering over the boy who looked a little panicked. "And speaking of which, if you haven't figured it out yet, and you obviously haven't, this entire village loves you. Even though you've done nothing to earn it. They kiss your ass and you spit in their faces, using them for your own purposes. Dump your arrogance, pride, and quest for revenge, and maybe you will become a good ninja," she said, attempting to sound like a person giving him some good advice. To be honest, she didn't care if Sasuke listened, but the mother in her had to at least make an attempt. With that said, she left, and went with her family to pack up her clan's belongings from the manor. Later at the Hokage's office, Naruto turned in his headband and put on his new whirlpool headband. Sarutobi nodded at the boy, sad to see him go, but also relieved that Naruto would finally receive the recognition and love he deserved. The third Hokage was one of the few people Naruto would miss going to New Whirlpool. As the family headed towards the gates of Konoha, they were blocked by someone. She was a young girl with short dark blue hair and pale, almost white, lavender eyes. She was dressed in a black bodysuit, sandals and a beige jacket. Naruto looked at her, not nearly as clueless as everyone thought he was. He knew who she was. "Hinata, what do you want?" he asked. Like always, the lovely young girl was poking her fingers together with her head pointed to the ground. Having heard that Naruto was leaving the village to go to New Whirlpool, Hinata realized that this would be her only chance to tell the blonde, whisker-faced boy how she felt. I was wondering," she said, right before she lunged forward and enveloped him in a tight hug. "I don't want you to go," she said, crying into his chest. "You don't?" he asked, clearly shocked by what he was hearing. "No, I don't," she cried, shaking her head as she continued to hold him. Naruto's arms gently went up and took hold of her lithe body. "Why, Hinata? Why don't you want me to go?" he asked. Because I. "Because you?" Kushina asked the girl. "I really like Naruto-kun," she said to the Uzukage. The blonde boy's eye went wide at that confession, his arms instinctively hugging her tighter. It's alright," he said. Then he looked at Kushina. "Take me with you," Hinata suddenly said. "But what about your clan?" Hinata asked. "I don't care," she said in a soft voice after raising her head from Naruto's chest. She's prepared to leave her own clan, her own village for Naruto? Erasure thought with a smile. That's not like. It's love. "You may come with us," Kushina said, which earned a smile from Hinata. "But you have to become a shinobi of New Whirlpool," she added. Hinata nodded as she undid her headband around her neck, dropping it in the dirt. With that, the family, and their new ally, stepped past the gates of Konoha, leaving the village. The next morning, the impact of Naruto and Hinata leaving Konoha was felt. The council were demanding that they both be declared missing means. But Hayashi squashed that quickly. "So my daughter must pay for something that the civilian council did, right?" he said, "just because our eyes aren't red and have commas in them?" "Hyuga-dano, you don't understand," said a member, but Hayashi cut him off. "No, I think I do understand," the Hyuga head said. "If you don't hear the name Uchiha, it doesn't matter to you. Oh, his family was killed by his older brother. Let's kiss his ass to make him feel better." The civilian council was getting mad quickly. "But when the child of our hero, you remember him, right? The Wayuindiaimi, who wasn't an Uchiha, tries to get equipment, what do? Give him the worst equipment there is. When he tries to buy food, you sell him month-old milk and stale bread. We hate and despise him for something he never did. Oh yes, he played many pranks, a couple of which I have fallen prey to, but none of them warranted his death. Personally, I'm glad Naruto has left. But the demon is gone, loose to run around free now," a voice shouted. Hayashi turned to the man. "Did you get wax in your ears, you fool? The Uzukage of New Whirlpool just told us yesterday that the fox demon had been removed from the boy. And we should believe her?" "No. You should believe me." "What?" "While you were busy doing imitations of open-mouthed fish, I used my Byakugan to see if she was telling the truth." "And?" The boy doesn't possess the seal mark on his stomach, which is the only true sign of the Kyuubi actually being imprisoned inside Naruto. The council members looked stunned, until one of them said, "And you didn't tell us this earlier?" I saw little point in confirming what the Uzukage already told us. She might be his mother, but she had no reason to lie to us. Especially when she knew we could easily verify it. He said. That and I enjoyed watching you all look like fools, he thought. The council members stewed in this for a while, until one of them spoke. So what does this mean for us? One of them said. Should we try to find a new weapon to use? A second one said. Or try to make the Uchiha heir stronger? A third person said. Perhaps we should do both. A fourth stated. Hayashi laughed. Oh yes. By all means. Let's bring another demon into the village to abuse and ostracize and then hope he'll fight for us rather than against. The council members looked at him. Do as you will. I want no part of trying to create another Naruto, Hayashi said. Don't think your hands aren't. I know my sins against him and my daughter. So don't tell me my hands don't have blood on them. But how clean are your hands? With that he left, and went back to his manor. Hinata, I hope you are happy in New Whirlpool, he thought. New Whirlpool was the most powerful village in Water Country, with it being a village of bloodlines. From dojutsus and full-body ones, to old and new, they used them for day-to-day actions to being shinobis. The academy's finals were taijutsu, genjutsu, kenjutsu, if any, targeting and kenjutsu, and they could use their family's bloodlines. The council was made out of nothing but clan heads. Before their arrival, Kushina had Erasure go on ahead to get the council and the people of the village together so there could be a village meeting. She wanted everyone to show up to greet Naruto. While the group headed to New Whirlpool, Hinata and Naruto talked. Really? I inspired you? Naruto asked in shock. Yes. Hinata replied. I watched you fail many times, but saw that you never gave up. You kept trying to get stronger and better at perfecting your jutsus. I made me want to try harder as well. While the pair continued talking, Kushina and her daughters couldn't help but look back to them. They make a cute couple, don't they? Hinata said. Yeah, they do, Naruto replied. I hear a but coming, Kushina said. But what if it's a trick? Naruto whispered. I mean, the whole village hated him, and she is the daughter of one of their largest clans. You think she was sent here to spy on him? Or us? Hinata asked. I don't think so, Kushina said. Really? Why? Look at her. Take a real good look, the woman said. The pair looked back and saw what Kushina saw. Hinata was blushing and shyly looking at Naruto. Her fingers were twitching nervously, and she seemed to be keeping her head down, which was a rather submissive gesture. Any further, and she'd have pulled her head into her jacket like a turtle. She's not faking this, Hinata said. No way. She looks like she's about to pass out from all that blushing, Naruto said. Satisfied with the girl's honesty, the group continued on while Hinata told Naruto how she liked to dance. Within a day, the group had made it to New Whirlpool, where everyone showed up. The welcoming committee was a literal sea of people. Almost every single bloodline limit was represented except for the extinct ones. Nice work, Erasure, Kushina thought with a smile as she stood forward to address the crowd. People of New Whirlpool, started Kushina. I have always considered you as my family, so I'd like you all to meet a new member of the family. My son Naruto. Naruto walked out, and the crowd cheered for him. Thank you. I'm happy and honored to be here. After so many years of being alone, I feel like I've finally come home, to a huge family welcoming me with open arms, he said. The crowd cheered louder. News of New Whirlpool had spread, everything about it being a hidden bloodline village and a former Jinchuriki being the son of the Uzukage. Of course, Konoha's council was bitching and complaining about it. We must get him back, said a council member. Oh, so now you want him back? Sarutobi scoffed. Why? To help the Uchiha make Chunin, said a member. Is that the only reason? The third asked. Shouldn't it be? Sarutobi just sighed and rose from his seat. For too long has this council, as well as this village, persecuted Naruto, for something that was never his fault. You all looked upon him as a demon, as a thing to be used, twisted, and controlled like a weapon. Despite the measures and decrees that were implemented, he was never treated as a hero. Not even as a human being. He owes us nothing, and we have no right to force him, or ask him, to help us do anything. The elderly man didn't even hear the council's arguing as he walked back to his office. Weary from his meeting, Sarutobi sighed and leaned back in his chair, his pipe puffing away trying to help him alleviate his stress. Just then there was a knock on the door. "Come in," he said before the doors opened. Strolling through the doors was a man with long white hair, dressed in green and red robes, black pants, socks and sandals. On his forehead was a horn headband with the kanji for oil on it. His eyes were dark with red lines coming from the corners down his cheeks. "Hello, sensei," the man said. "Jiraiya," Sarutobi greeted, happy to see one of his students again. "How was your mission?" "It was all right. Here you are. The latest issue." He handed Sarutobi a book. "Thank you, Jiraiya," he sighed as he accepted the pink book. The sigh and somewhat glum expression told the Toad Sannin his sensei was in distress. "What's wrong?" Jiraiya asked. Sarutobi took a breath before telling Jiraiya everything that had happened over the last few days. Needless to say, the Toad Sannin was shocked. "So it's true?" "True? Well, I'd heard there was a new hidden village, but I didn't know Kushina was alive and their Hokage no less." "Oh yes, you should have heard what she said to Sasuke and the council before they left. Now they're gone, and they took Hinata with them." "The Hyuga heiress? Really? Never got a chance to meet her. Never could stand Hayashi." He muttered the last part. "So when's the next time they're going to be here?" "We've sent out an invite to New Whirlpool for the Chunin exams. We haven't got an answer yet." Just then there was a knock on the door. "Come in," Sarutobi said. It was his assistant. "Sorry to interrupt Hokage-sama, Jiraiya-sama. But we got the answer from New Whirlpool," she said. She handed him the answer, and he read it. "Well, you'll get to see them in a couple of months," Sarutobi told Jiraiya. "So they are coming?" "Yes," he said with a smile. Naruto, Hinata, Hinaru, Naruko, Haku and Zabuza were in Kushina's office. Naruto was a little surprised to see the Mist Ninjas so soon, even though his mother had ordered them brought to their village after the battle with Gato's thugs. The pair had actually been grateful for the retrieval. "Okay, this is what's going on," the Uzukage said. "We have accepted the invitation for the Chunin exams, which are to be held in Konoha. Naruto, Hinata, I want you two on the same team." Hinata blushed as Naruto wrapped his arms around the girl's tight, nimble body and kissed her on the cheek. "I don't mind being with you, Hinata," he said. "In fact, I think it's a good idea. I'm the only one you know." "Oh, okay, and Naruto-kun," she said, rubbing her head against his face. After the pair had left Konoha to head to New Whirlpool, the pair trained during their rest stops. Naruto and Kushina taught her the Kage Bunshin, and trained her with her clones. The young Hyuga was actually amazed as how much training she had gotten in within such a short time period. Even in class she had never excelled like that. The training was hard, but Hinata had learned persistence from Naruto, and welcomed the training. Naruto was also quick to notice that underneath her bulky, almost winter-season jacket, she had a really nicely built body. She was still a little shy about that fact though. With her sandals on her feet she was dressed in a violet bikini tank top, thong underwear, and biker shorts underneath her jacket. "Who's going to be our other partner?" asked Naruto. Kushina then called in a silver-haired young man with green eyes who was dressed in a black muscle shirt, greenish cargo pants and sandals. His headband was on his head. He was very tall and powerful looking. "Naruto, this is your cousin, Hagain," she said. "Hagain, this is Naruto." Nice to meet you, Hagain-san," said Naruto as he bowed. "You shouldn't bow to me," Hagain said. "You are the heir to both of our clans." Just then a young woman walked into the office. She was dressed in a black and gold sleeveless shirt with a tiger on it, low-riding jeans, sandals, and her headband was on her thigh. She had blue silted eyes and black streaked blonde hair. They looked at her as she entered. "Oh, Tora. Good of you to join." However, Kushina couldn't finish as the girl tackled Naruto down to the floor. "Us." She sighed and shook her head. "Naruto, that's Tora, another one of your cousins." Naruto just looked down at the beautiful woman that was on top of him. Mom? Why is she purring?" Naruto asked. "I'm part tiger," Tora said as she cuddled against him. "Part tiger?" he asked. Naruto had been told about a clan that had the same abilities and attributes as those of tigers, and that they also trained them as partners. "Just like Kibakuin's family," said Hinata, succeeding in hiding her jealousy at the blonde woman cuddling up to Naruto. She succeeded only because she had heard that Tora was Naruto's cousin. Tora helped Naruto up off the floor and turned to the pale-eyed girl. "Hi. I'm Tora," she said to Hinata. "I'm Hinata Hyuga," the girl said. "Nice to meet you, Hinata-chan. You're Naruto-kun's girlfriend, right?" she asked, causing her to blush. True, Naruto may have kissed her, but she was still a little shy about things. Then a young man came in. He was dressed in a light gray suit with a gray overcoat and closed-toed sandals. He also had on a pair of designer glasses over his blue-gray eyes. His headband was under his dirty blonde hair. Under his coat was a katana and he looked like he was a guard. Tora went over to him and hugged him tightly. "Okay, Tora," he said as he patted her head and she let him go. "Attention-seeking bitch," he mumbled. "Hello, Aunt Kushina. And this must be Naruto?" he asked, indicating the blonde boy. "Yes, Rimaru, where's your sister?" she said. "Reiko's signing back in and finishing her report," he said, "but it's good to finally see you, Naruto-kun," he said, shaking Naruto's hand. Firm grip. "I like that," he said. While he was getting introduced to Hinata, Haku, and Zabuza, Reiko walked in. She had dirty blonde hair and blue-gray eyes, like her brother, and was dressed in a tight gray shirt, plaid microskirt, and sandals. Her headband was on her head. The second she saw Naruto, she grabbed him in a tight hug, her shapely and well-balanced body pressed firmly against him. "It's so good to see you, Naruto-kun," she said. "You too, Rai-chan," he said, slowly getting used to all these hugs and greetings. Once everyone was present, Kushina told them about the team that was going with Naruto to Konoha. After the meeting, Higane, Tora, Rimaru, and Reiko took Naruto and Hinata on a tour of New Whirlpool. They showed them everything from the Bloodline Walk of Fame to the New Whirlpool sign. Hey, if Konoha can have Mount Hokage more, then New Whirlpool can be like LA. Though Naruto wondered why a new hidden village would have something that obvious in their village, he realized that, like Konoha, New Whirlpool was a ninja village that was proud of who they were, but not to the point of being egocentric. It also brought up another question as to how long the Leaf Village expected to survive to put more faces on the mountain. It was pretty full as it was, and they had only gone through 4 Hokages so far. Eventually the group ended up at Higane's favorite place, a sushi stand. Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Sushi?" he asked, himself being a fairly strict ramen guy. "Yeah," Higane said as he stuck a piece of the raw fish in his mouth. He then slid a couple of pieces to Hinata and Naruto. They were a little apprehensive about it, Naruto mostly because it wasn't ramen, Hinata because most of her food had been cooked by the chefs in her manor. He looked over to Hinata as she took the piece in her mouth and ate it. It's good," she said, really enjoying it. Satisfied with Hinata's opinion, Naruto tried a piece. And liked it. "It's not ramen, but it's pretty good," he said. Higane ordered a couple of orders for them and the group ate and talked. Meanwhile, not everything was going well in Konoha. Especially for Team 7, who had just received a new teammate. He had just graduated from the academy, Rookie of the Year, like Sasuke. He was dressed in a white robe, black hakama pants, socks and sandals, a sheathed katana and kodachi with him. He had long light brown hair, gray eyes and skin slightly more tan than Sasuke's. What made him different from the others was that he was the heir to a semi-important clan of samurais. Highly talented ones at that. His name Misaka Takeuchi. He was sitting down under a sakura tree, drinking some tea. When they saw him, Sasuke wasn't impressed. Which really meant that he wants to be like him. Sakura wasn't paying that much attention to him and Kakashi was reading his porno book. "Are you our new teammate?" Sasuke asked. "What's your name?" Misaka didn't answer him, steadily drinking his tea. Sakura was naturally mad that he didn't respond to Sasuke. "Answer him, Baka." She barked as she rushed him with a punch, but Misaka simply pulled his sheathed sword up, blocking the fist with an outward swing, then bringing it back around to trip her with it. Still gripping the handle, he jerked upward, tossing the sheath into the air, freeing the blade and pointed it an inch from the pink-haired girl's neck. The sheath came down and bopped Sakura on the head. Still sipping his tea, his sword pointed at Sakura's neck. One would naturally assume that Misaka's attention was diverted. Kakashi acted on this and threw a handful of kunai at him. Misaka tossed his cup of tea into the air and dragged his kodachi, unsheathing it, and deflected them all. He sheathed his kodachi and caught his cup as it came down. He sipped the last of his tea, finally removing his sword from Sakura's throat. Done with his tea, the boy stood up and pulled both of his swords out. "I am Misaka Takeuchi," he said. "And yes, I am your new teammate," he said, turning to address each of them individually. "You are Kakashi Heikate, one of the most highly decorated shinobis in the village. Kakashi smiled at the compliment. And also the most overrated one as well. You are lazy, uncouth, almost always late, and the only thing you have got going for you is your Sharingan given to you by your teammate Obito Uchiha. Rumor has it that you killed him because he had the power and the girl. Kakashi grimaced at Misaka's words, as the samurai boy turned to Sakura. Sakura Haruno, a practical genius. One of the top kunoichi in the academy on paper. In reality, you are completely weak, you have no true talent, and the only thing you do is chase after the last Uchiha. Sakura frowned as he said that. Though I admit you are fairly cute when you get knocked on your ass. He said, then turned to Sasuke. And finally, Sasuke Uchiha, last season's Rookie of the Year, and the last loyal Uchiha in Konoha. I'll admit you have talent, but you also have no heart, a black soul, and a ruthless thirst for revenge, yet the entire village kisses your ass. Simply because you are the last Uchiha you think everything should be given to you on a silver platter. I am here to change all of that. I am very sorry, but it is time to wake up. The dreams are over. Enraged, Sasuke leaped to attack him. Misaka started to block everything the Uchiha threw at him, using the handles of his swords to do so. How is he matching me? He thought. He tried to use his Sharingan on him, but Misaka just smirked as he leapt back a couple feet. The samurai closed his eyes and sent chakra into them. A couple seconds later he opened them. Sakura seemed to notice that they were ice blue with a mirror-like glaze to them. Kakashi was just shocked, as though he recognized the technique. Sasuke, however, just gasped as his Sharingan became useless. Gripping both swords tightly, Misaka seemed to fly across the ground towards Sasuke, his swords flashing as they struck the emo boy's body. He almost seemed to pass right through the Uchiha like a ghost. He stood up and sheathed his sword as Sasuke suddenly collapsed to the ground, his body bleeding from the dozen sword slashes that now permeated his torso, arms, and legs. Misaka sighed. You are pathetic, Uchiha, he said. Had this been a real battle, you would be dead, or worse, a captive. I should have known you weren't worth the hype. I must report into the Hokage now. I will see you tomorrow, my teammates. While Misaka walked away from the Stun Team 7, Niji Hyuga was standing before the Hyuga Council in their chambers. Niji, the heir will be coming back to Konoha. We want you to bring her to us so we can put the curse seal on her, said a member. Niji nodded his head and left. What they didn't know, however, was that whatever they told him to do, they never said not to go and tell Hayashi. Which is what he did. So they want to place the curse seal on Hinata when she gets back in time for the Chunin exams? Hayashi said with a smirk. I'm afraid I have other plans, my nephew. This is what we'll do. He told Niji his plan. At first, Niji was not optimistic about its chances, until Hayashi removed the cursed seal from Niji's head as a show of good faith. The seal now harmless, Niji allowed himself a smile. But he quickly forced it down, keeping up the appearance that he still hated Hayashi. Meanwhile, in New Whirlpool, Naruto, Hinata and Higane were going through some team-building exercises. Hanging out with each other and enjoying each other's company was part of it. Right now Naruto and Higane were sparring with each other with Hinata watching. Both of them had transformed into their steel body forms as they sparred. Hinata was surprised at what she had seen of her teammates. They were using elemental jutsus, which caused them to hit harder with every punch and kick they threw. She had to cover her ears for most of it. Okay, Naruto, said Higane. I'm going to teach you some new moves. Watch carefully. He went through the seals, which ended with his body starting to glow. The wind started to pick up and lifted him off the ground, his body launching into the air. Naruto and Hinata looked up to see Higane, when they heard, wind and steel style, bring the rain. Naruto's eyes opened wide when he realized what was about to happen. He quickly ran to Hinata and scooped her up, dashing away as the energy slammed into the ground, devastating everything with what felt like a small nuke. However, Hinata didn't realize this. Her face was pink because she was in Naruto's arms. Naruto-kun's holding me, she thought. While she had gotten better around Naruto as of late, able to at least keep from fainting whenever Naruto kissed her, and that was with Naruto holding onto her to keep her from falling down, she still had a tendency to faint whenever she saw him topless. But right now she could handle him holding her like this. After the attack was over, the pair looked back and stared around the area. There was nothing but a crater, which Hinata guessed to be about 50 to 60 meters in diameter. Whoa! Naruto gasped, having reverted back to his normal body. There's like nothing left. Higane landed next to them. As you can see, that was a desperation move, he said, breathing hard. I would say so, Naruto said. How did you do that? Okay, has your mom told you who your father was? Naruto nodded. Good. That was about 5 Raisengans on steroids. Because of our steel bodies, our chakra abilities get amped up by about 10. 10? Naruto gasped. But doesn't that take a lot out of us? He asked. Hagane nodded as they heard his stomach growl. He blushed as his teammates giggled. Come on, let's go eat, he said, leading the pair back to his favorite sushi stand. He reminds me of Choji-san, Hinata said. Really? Naruto nodded. Meanwhile, in the office of the Yuzakage, Kushina was talking to Erasure about his brother. So, when do you think Pain is going to find out that he's not going to get Kyuubi? She asked. Erasure just chuckled. Pain wasn't the sharpest of the three of us, he said, and he drank some tea. What really makes it bad is Conan's a devoted follower to him. She reminds me of that damned Haruno clan, if they could call themselves that anyway. Now Erasure, just because they're pink-haired morons, who don't have any real practical talent and their hair and clothing style just screams kill me, doesn't mean they're morons, she said. You're right, that's an insult to morons. Anyway, I think when he finds out about the Kyuubi being gone and try to attack us. But he's too scared to fight you and me, so he'll probably send Itachi and Kisame, or someone stupid enough to take us out. I hope it's Madara. Oops. I mean Toby, I owe the man. Madara was the one who had the Namikaze clan removed from Konoha and blocked them from taking Naruto with them. Erasure, I know you hate that family, I hate them too, but Naruto will embarrass Sasuke and show them that the Uchiha were all hype. Just leave it to Naruto, huh? Erasure mused. I don't want to burden his shoulders, but with our help, he can do it. Of course. In Konoha, in the Takeuchi clan manor, the clan head had called Misaka to her room. The woman herself was a goddess. She had long brown hair that flowed down her back, curling up around her face. Her skin was a delicate peach color, completely natural. No makeup. Her right eye was steel-colored, her left eye gone as that side of her face had been destroyed by a fireball some years ago. She was dressed in a white kimono, hakama pants, socks and an overrobe with her clan's name in kanji on the back. Picture Balalaika from Black Lagoon with brown hair dressed up like a captain from Bleach. Her name was Taicho Takeuchi, the clan head. She smiled as her son entered her office. So how did your first meeting go? She asked the boy. She was a very soft-spoken person, her voice matching her beauty. The scars did nothing to detract from that beauty, but made others want to kill the person who did it to her face. You were right as always, mother, he said. The Uchiha was not worth the hype. She nodded. So what are you going to do? Misaka asked. I heard that Naruto is the captain of the new Whirlpool team. I'm going to make sure that they will be safe, Taicho said. Very well. They will pay for what they did to us and Naruto. Like many people, the Takeuchi clan had issues with the council. It was the council that removed that Takeuchi clan from their inner circle, via Danzo, since he wanted to increase his power base. The Haruno clan took their place, via Danzo's recommendation. Madara, who had been on the council at the time, had blocked Naruto's adoption into the Takeuchi clan. Their clan were major allies to the Namikaze clan when Minato was a boy. Taicho got her face burned because she wouldn't marry Madara, destroying her eye. When she had heard about the Uchiha clan massacre, she was happy about the Uchiha council dying, saddened that her best friend, Mikoto, died, and enraged that Madara wasn't there to enjoy being killed. Oh yes, they will pay, the woman said with an emotionless face, her emotions boiling inside. Kushina had called Naruto into her office in the Uzumaki clan manor. You wanted to see me, Mom? He asked as he entered her office. Yes, Naruto-kun, she said. I want to explain some things to you. Oh? Like what? He asked. Oh, say, the reason why you and Naruto use firearms, she replied. Yeah. Not that I mind, but I was kinda wondering. Well, it's because we are not from the elemental countries, she said, the Uzumakis, that is. You see, I come from a long line of bounty hunters. My father was subjected to a lot of experiments that changed his DNA, which gave us our Dijitsu and our steel bodies. Naruto was mesmerized by the story. Anyway, we were chasing down a group of wanted criminals and followed them into the elemental countries. While we were chasing them down, we ran into your father. He was a jounin at the time. With the aid of him and his team, we were able to capture them. It was shortly after that I fell in love with your father. By this time the rest of my family had arrived to help us, and it was during that time that Whirlpool was Water Country's answer to Konoha. She still made sure she had his attention as she poured him some tea. My family settled down in Whirlpool, but when the big bloodline purge happened throughout Water, we were the ones who helped those who were trying to escape get away to safety. Rin and I worked together to stop the Water Lord's war on bloodline clans, which included the destruction of Whirlpool Village. With his death, everything went back to normal. But we had to pick up the pieces, and so we secretly founded New Whirlpool. What happened to Rin-san? Naruto asked, and as if on cue, a beautiful woman walked into the room. She had shoulder-length brown hair and caramel brown eyes. She was dressed in a black shirt, white skirt with slits up the leg, open-toed sandals and bike shorts. She also had markings on her cheeks. Seeing the blonde boy with his back to her, she snuck up on him, grabbing him from behind. "Right behind you, Naruto-kun," she said. With that she kissed him on the cheek. "Oh, he's cute. Can I keep him?" she asked playfully. "You're gonna have to fight his girlfriend then, Rin." Kushina smirked. "Oh, all the good ones are taken," she whined. "Oh, speaking of which, Naruto-kun, I need to talk to Hinata as soon as possible." Meanwhile, Konoha was getting ready for the Chunin exams to be held in their village, with Danzo trying to inflict martial law so as to not let New Whirlpool in. But Sarutobi smashed that quickly. "But we don't need their kind here," he stated to the Hokage in his office. "Oh really?" Sarutobi asked. "And what would that be? The kind that is more powerful than you and your root?" Danzo sneered at the insinuation. "Fear does not become you, Danzo. Though it is refreshing to see you are human." "I'm not afraid," he snapped. "Though I know why you aren't. Kushina actually likes you. I never gave her reason to hate me, so yes, I have no reason to be afraid." "This is a mistake, sir," he said, giving emphasis to the word sir as if it was forced. "One of many this village has made, even under my watch. Regardless, the invitation has been sent and accepted. New Whirlpool will be coming to attend the exams. Now, if you have nothing else to rant about to me, get out of my office." Glaring, Danzo left the Hokage's office. Seconds later, a certain female clan head emerged from behind Sarutobi. "He had a lot of gall to do something like that," Taicho said as she walked over to the front of the desk. "I know, Taicho-chan. It's something I've gotten used to. So are you sure you really want to do this?" he asked. "We can find a way to bring you back to the inner circle." "The damage has been done, Sarutobi-kun," she said with respect. "After what they had done to Minato-kun's child, my family cannot take it anymore. I cannot take it. We have to leave before we pull a reverse Itachi on the village." Sarutobi immediately realized what she meant by that, her entire clan killing the village. The worst part was, considering their standing and skill, no one would see it coming nor be able to stop them. "But where will you go?" Sarutobi asked. "New Whirlpool. Arashi-kun offered us a place to stay and also I love him." Sarutobi smiled at that. "And there is nothing I can do will change your mind?" "No, sir," she said, shaking her head. "Very well. After the end of the exams you may leave," he said to her. "You will be surely missed." "By you, not this village," the head of the Teiuchi clan replied with a soft smile before leaving the Hokage's office. Meanwhile, Team 8 was meeting their new teammate. She was a cute young woman with blonde hair and a pixie cut and red streaks running through it. She was dressed in a gray singlet with a black miniskirt, white sandal boots and gauntlets, her ninja headband on her head. Her eyes were amazing as the trio couldn't tell what color they were. At first they were hazel, then they were silver, then gold, and then back to hazel. She was also very well built, for her age. "I'm June Kintabori, it's nice to meet you," she said to Team 8. "Kintabori? Where have I heard that name before?" Kiba wondered. Suddenly, Akamera poked his head out of Kiba's shirt. The second June saw the puppy, she smiled. "AKA-chan." She squealed as she grabbed the little puppy to cuddle him. "Oh, I missed you so much." He started to lick her face, and she hugged him. The others were in shock. "No way, Jun-chan?" Kiba gasped. "You know her, Kiba-kun?" Kurenai asked. "Yes, sensei, we grew up together," he said, hugging her tightly, avoiding crushing Akamaru. They sat down and started talking about what had been up to in their lives. It took a little prompting to get Kiba to introduce June to her teammates, Shino the bug ninja and Kurenai-sensei the genjutsu mistress. While Team 8 was getting acquainted, Anko Mitarashi was twirling a kunai in her hand as she went over the list of ninja who were to arrive in Konoha for the Chunin exams. At the inner corner of her desk sat a message from New Whirlpool, which had arrived via private courier, in the middle of the night. She sighed as Ibiki walked in. "So what do you think of Arashi's offer?" he asked. "I don't know. I mean, Minato-kun did engage me to the gaki, but she said I don't know." "Have you even met him yet?" "No, not yet." "That could be a problem," Ibiki said. "I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I've never seen you this upset before." "I've never been engaged before," Anko replied. True. I mean, hell, no one ever wanted to date me. She scoffed. That's not entirely true. People were just intimidated by your attitude. Minato wasn't. Neither was Erasure. And that's only because they were stronger than most. Well, from what I hear, the guy's quite strong. And he and his team are coming for the exams, so you should at least try to get to know him. Alright, I hope you are worth my time, Naruto. She thought. In New Whirlpool, Naruto sneezed and Hinata shivered. The pair looked at each other curiously. Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Yeah, Hina-chan? Naruto asked. Am I imagining things, or did we just, she started to say, clutching the boy's hand tightly. No. I don't think so. Something big is about to go down. The blonde boy replied as the pair walked to the Uzuki's office. When the pair arrived, Kushina greeted them. Hinata. Good. Thank you, Naruto-kun. You can go. This is girl talk. Kushina said. Right. Naruto said, giving Hinata's hand a good squeeze before leaving. Once Hinata was alone with the Uzuki, the older woman's expression turned serious. Did I do something wrong, Uzuki-sama? Hinata asked. Not exactly, Hinata, the woman said. I wanted to talk to you about Naruto. Or, more specifically, your relationship with him. The girl's eyes widened as she felt her heart start to drop. First of all, I want to say how happy I am that you honestly like my son. I've been watching you for some time and I'm glad that your feelings are genuine. If they were otherwise, I probably would have killed you. Hinata gulped, but felt relieved as well. Secondly, I was pleasantly surprised that you are such a kind and compassionate young woman. That is something of a rarity, especially in a ninja village. It's another plus in your favor. Hinata continued to remain silent, as if waiting for the other shoe to drop. However, there is an issue that I want to address to you, she stated, standing up from her desk and moving towards the girl. Here it comes. Hinata thought fearfully, clutching her hands together tightly. I want to take you on as my apprentice and personally train you, Kushina said. Hinata's eyes were wide as dinner plates when she said that. You want to train me? Hinata gasped. Yes. Thank you? But what does this have to do with Naruto-kun? She asked. Perceptive. Another plus. The Uzuki smiled. Like I said, I've been watching you for some time, and I've noticed how you interact with my son. Namely, you're blushing and stuttering. If you act like this around him, just holding hands and such, how in the world will you ever be able to give me grandchildren? At hearing those words, Hinata turned beet red. See? That's what I mean, she said, pointing to the girl's face. If you blush like that at the merest mention of intimacy, you're going to pass out before you and Naruto can do anything more than just hold hands. But we're too young for that, she squeaked. Of course you are. I wasn't suggesting you start a family right now. But Naruto has been denied love and affection by virtually everyone in Konoha for all of his life. Now that he has people to care for him, he'll hold on to them with all his might. And that includes you. Personally, I think you're perfect for him. You're the sweetest, kindest, most honest and cutest young ninja I've ever met. Your shy innocence and sincere feelings towards Naruto are your best qualities, and I would never want you to lose those traits. However, if you don't mind me saying this, you are not strong. At least emotionally. You have the potential for strength on many levels, and I want to help you achieve that. For my son. Hinata felt a huge weight lift off her shoulders and heart as Kushina finished her speech. The Uzuki thought that she was perfect for Naruto and wanted to make her stronger so that she could be the perfect match for him. And even she had to admit that she was rather weak in some areas. She wanted to be stronger, thanks to Naruto's example, and here, his own mother was offering her the chance to achieve this. I accept, Hinata said. Good. Kushina smiled. But before we begin, I need to ask you a question. A very serious one. Yes? Do you love him? Hinata blushed heavily once again. I need to know, Hinata. Like and love are different in extreme ways. I need to hear the words from you. I need to be sure of just how committed you are to getting, and keeping, Naruto. Her heart was beating rapidly, her face threatening to burst from heat as a tear raced down her cheek. Time seemed to stand still as the words came to her mouth. Yes. I love Naruto-kun. I love him with all my heart, and I will do whatever it takes to be with him always, she cried out. Kushina smiled as she moved to the girl and enveloped her in a warm hug. You'll do, Hinata. You'll do. She cooed softly as the girl cried into the Uzuki's chest. Naruto, Hinata, Higane, Tora, Rimaru, Reiko, Rin and Erasure were on their way back to Konoha. Naruto and Hinata would be coming for the finals with Kushina. Naruto was in his red and black Under Armour sleeveless top, red leather, flaring tights, a sleeveless, zipped hoodie, leather gauntlets and a nose and mouth mask. Hagane was dressed like Naruto but in silver and white, with his hood down. Hinata was now dressed in what looked like a bustier, black thong, low-rise tights, closed-toed sandals, a slightly different jacket than her original, with her whirlpool headband around her neck as she had once worn her leaf headband. Her left hand was clutched tightly to Naruto's right, the young man interlacing his fingers with hers. Tora was dressed in her normal clothes but with a Chunin vest on her body. Rimaru and Reiko were dressed normally along with Chunin vests also. Rin and Erishur hadn't changed their attire at all, though Erishur purposely kept his look in order to upset certain people in Konoha. After all, Minato was the village hero, having defeated the Kyuubi years ago and died because of it. While Erishur hadn't done anything that big, and was proud of his brother for it, he hadn't liked the fact that the village had nearly killed Naruto numerous times because of something that was never his fault. So looking like his brother was preferable for many reasons. The group was only a few hours from Konoha and stopped for lunch. "Is everything alright, Hina-chan?" Naruto asked. "I'm just worried, Naruto-kun," Hinata said. "About the Chunin exam? Don't worry. You'll do great." He smiled. "Thank you? But I meant for you." "You're worried about me. Why?" "Well, the village. They hate you. They might try to kill you." "I know. I actually expect them to." "You do?" "Yes. And if I know that, then I can prepare for it," he replied with a smile. Hinata smiled at Naruto's competence and leaned into him, resting her head against his shoulder, wrapping her arms around his own. Naruto returned the smile and nuzzled her hair with his nose, taking in her scent. Erishur and Rin just looked over at the young couple, smiling as they intertwined their fingers. "Sigh. Ah, young love," Rin said with a smile. "Does it make you wish you were younger?" Erishur asked. "Yes. And no." "No?" "With youth comes energy. With age comes experience. The trade-off is acceptable." Erishur cocked an eyebrow at that, wondering what she meant. To him, it sounded like Rin was in the process of planning something. Hagane smiled too, seeing Naruto and Hinata so close. He had his own reservations as to the couple's progressing relationship, given that the pale-eyed girl was rather meek in her personality and such. But within the last 2 months he had noticed a significant upswing in her mood. Not only had she trained to get stronger, but she had made greater strides in order to make her feelings for Naruto known. The pair were an official couple before they had left New Whirlpool, no one saying anything against either one. Especially Hinata. Aside from being a little shy, everyone in New Whirlpool found the girl to be bright, intelligent, cheerful, determined, and sweet. Her kindness and respect had won over the entire village in less than a day, her honesty only cementing that trust. Tora had quickly become Hinata's best friend, her outgoing personality a match for Hinata's rather introverted one. Rimaru and Reiko had nothing against her either, though Rimaru kept his opinion to himself regarding Hinata. Reiko knew that her brother liked the girl like she did. Eventually the group arrived at Konoha, Erishur presenting their travel documents to the gate guards. "Well, we're here," Erishur said. "Let's go get signed in and find a hotel." The group nodded and headed to Sarutobi's office. Unbeknownst to them, though with some suspicion, the group had been watched the second they had set foot in the village. The agents told Danzo they had arrived as the group went to the Hokage's office. "Good," he sneered. "Now, go find and kill the demon's team, then bring the demon to me," he said. The group bowed and took off. After checking in with Sarutobi and getting their hotel reservations, the group headed out for dinner at one of the restaurants. Though Naruto wanted to go to his favorite ramen stand, Erishur told him that a more balanced diet would be better for him, especially with the Chunin exams tomorrow. The group was on their way to the restaurant when they noticed something was off. Naruto was the first to realize it, when he saw that the usually crowded streets were empty. Tora growled slightly as Rimaru looked at her. "What is it?" he whispered to the tiger woman. "Trouble," she hissed. Within seconds, a group of 10 ANBU appeared out of nowhere and attacked the group. So nice being home, Naruto thought with a sigh. Erishur dodged the sword blade of his attacker, moving to the right as the blade went right past him, allowing him to slide up close and ran him hand into the ninja's chest. Rin pulled 2 kunai from her belt and quickly leaped into the air, impaling the blades into the back of the 2 ANBU's necks as she flew over them. Higane blocked his attacker's attacks, grabbed his arm and spun him around, quickly grabbing his neck and snapping it in one clean move. Rimuru matched the ANBU's sword attacks move for move, until he sliced off the ninja's hands and then impaled him through the chest. Reiko did the same thing, though she let the ninja keep his hands, just not his left leg. Tora leapt around from the sides of the buildings like a wild animal, jumping and dodging furiously, until she was able to move in close and slash the ANBU across his throat. Hinata, not being able to take even the life of an enemy, dodged the attacks and slammed her hands into her ANBU's chest, knocking him back into the stone wall of one of the buildings, rendering him unconscious. And Naruto easily dodged the attacks of the first ANBU, who missed Naruto and impaled the second one, allowing Naruto to knock the first unconscious. With the ANBU group defeated, Naruto stepped up and removed the mask of the one Hinata had beaten. He smirked as he saw who it was. "Well, hello, Sai," Naruto said to the ninja. "Who is he?" Reiko asked. "This is Danzo's son, Sai," he said as Higane held Sai's arms back. The ANBU ninja looked at the blonde, whisker-faced boy, and as usual, his penis affliction came to play. "What are you going to do, Dickless?" he said. The emotions from Naruto's team were varied. Hinata was in shock, Higane was just hung his head, Reiko just blushed because she had accidentally got a look at Naruto equipment, and he wasn't lacking, Rimuru just looked at the boy with apathy, Tora growled at him, Rin just sighed and Erasure got mad. "Naruto?" Well, he started to chuckle and turned his back to the other male. "And you should know," Naruto said. "So what, Daddy Danzo never played with yours enough, so now you have to talk about others like that?" he asked. "Or maybe you don't have one of your own? Or maybe he just likes you the way you are. Not that I'm going to find out if that's true or not, but since you're here, I'm going to leave you alive so that you can tell your dear father that if he wants me, he'd better come and get me himself, not send his little sodders. Rimuru, give that one's head to Sai so he can give it as a message to Danzo," he said, indicating the other still alive ANBU that Erasure was watching. Rimaru's glasses flashed as his hands swiped in front of him. After a quick flash, the root ANBU's head was in Arashi's hands. "Here you are. Now be a good little boy and give this to Daddy Danzo, alright?" the man said as he handed Sai the head. He was actually impressed that Rimuru hadn't gotten any blood on him when he sliced off the ninja's head. The Bao growled as he accepted it, but made a last attempt to attack Naruto. It was an attempt that failed as Reiko, Rimuru, Tora and Higane all stopped him, weapons aided at his head. Naruto then turned to him and pointed one of his Glocks at Sai's head. "It would be in your best interest to leave if you want to live," Naruto said. Sai took the head and left. Meanwhile, in the Takeuchi manor, Taicho was meditating and sensed Naruto's team. She smirked. The group returned to their hotel after dinner and got settled into their rooms. The girls stayed in one room, the boys in the one next to it. While Rin read her book that she had picked up at the store, Tora and Hinata were talking. "It wasn't a big deal, Tora-chan," Hinata said with a blush as she sat behind Tora to brush out her hair. "But it was, Hina-chan," Tora bubbled. "You're a genin and you took out an ANBU on your own. That's a great accomplishment. Auntie would be proud. You should be too." She giggled as she turned around and tackled the pale-eyed girl. "H!" Hinata shrieked as the tiger woman started tickling her. "Oh, for crying out loud, Tora!" Reiko groaned as she got into the mix. Rin just smiled, wondering why she hadn't brought a video camera. In the next room, Naruto was blushing a little as he overheard the commotion from next door. For a ninja, they certainly aren't quiet, the blonde thought. "Think Danzo's got something else planned for us?" Higane asked as he polished his sword. "Probably. Even without Sarutobi's warning, that attack didn't surprise me," Erasure said as he hung up his coat in the closet. "What I want to know is, what does Danzo want?" "Maybe we should have asked Sai that," Rimuru said as he slipped another bullet into his clip. "He was just a messenger boy," Erasure replied. "Danzo gave the order, he carried it out. Doubt he even knew why." "You don't think Danzo would have told his own son what was going on?" "If I were Danzo, I'd play things close to the vest," the man replied as he sat down in the chair next to the window. "But if Danzo wanted to capture Naruto, what would he want him for? Power or information?" Higane asked. "Maybe both," Rimuru said. "Only if he doesn't know I don't have the Kyuubi inside me anymore," Naruto said, finally able to tune out his girlfriend and his cousin. Erasure smirked. "I wonder if we shouldn't let him think that?" I don't really care what Danzo thinks. He sends more ninjas after me, I'll bury them. So say we all, Hagane said in a whisper. The next morning, Naruto and company went in to take the first part of the test. It was the first time that Enko had seen her fiancé. Well, this is it. I finally get to meet him. But right now, I have a rep to live up to, she thought as she headed to the second test area. While Naruto and his teammates stayed off to the side, looking at each group of ninja that had come from the numerous villages, another pair of teams introduced themselves. Hinata-chan, Kiba said as Akamaru leapt at the pale-eyed girl and licked her face. Kiba-kun! Akamaru-chan! Hinata cried as Kiba, Shino and Jun introduced themselves. While Hinata was glad to see her old teammates, it was Shino and Hagane who kept glaring at each other. Hagane didn't tell anyone that he had a slight fear of bugs, and Shino made him a little bit nervous. So you're the famous Hyuga heiress, Jun said. I'm glad to finally meet you. Kurenai-sensei has had nothing but good things to say about you. Thank you. How is sensei? Hinata asked. She was a little sad that you left. But under the circumstances she did understand, Shino said. Circumstances? Naruto asked curiously. The council not liking you, Hinata's father being on the council, the Hyuga council wanting to put the curse seal on Hinata. They what? Naruto growled, his chakra spiking, which caused Akamaru to whimper. Naruto-kun, Hinata whispered, clutching his hand tightly. Across the room, a certain red-haired ninja with rings around his eyes turned towards the blonde boy. Interesting, Gaara thought as he stared at the blonde. Such anger. Naruto calmed down a bit as Team 7 finally arrived. Sasuke Kyuin, said a platinum blonde girl with ice blue eyes. She was dressed in a black bodysuit, and sandals. Her headband was on her waist. She was your basic blonde girl. Sakura was getting mad. She was foaming at the mouth. This naturally made the two boys that had arrived with the blonde, a bored-looking boy with a pineapple hairstyle and a chubby boy stuffing his face with a bag of chips, attempt to keep their distance. Stay away from him, I know, pig, Sakura shouted. That was when Ino saw their new teammate. And who are you? She asked the samurai boy. Where's Naruto? Ino asked. Humph, he's probably being a coward and did the smart thing by not showing up, Sasuke said. Yeah. How dare that bitch not teach Sasuke a move in which he could be more powerful, Sakura said as she was suddenly hit upside the head with the hilt of Masaka's katana. Oh. Forgive my teammates, but I am Masaka Takeuchi, their new teammate, he answered as he turned back to Sakura. And simply because the Yuzukage would not teach Sasuke a clan technique does not make her a bitch. Yes, it does, she snapped. Then you would be saying the same about every member of the Konoha Council who cannot teach Sasuke their techniques, for the exact same reason, Masaka said. Irritated by the samurai's attitude, Sasuke used his free hand to reach up in an attempt to strike Masaka in the face. However, the second he moved in to strike, his wrist was caught by a strong hand. Everyone looked back and saw Naruto. Was someone looking for me? He asked the group. The new Team 7 and Ino laid their eyes on Naruto. The blonde boy had his hood down to reveal himself. He had gained more muscle, he was taller, and his hair had grown out to where it was past his shoulders. And Naruto? Ino gasped as she took him in. The blonde boy nodded at Ino, seeing no reason not to be civil to the blonde girl, as she had never really badmouthed him like Sakura had. But it was his smile that made the girl's heart flutter, a light blush spread across her cheeks. How have you been, Ino-chan? Naruto asked. Was all she said as the new Whirlpool team and the Konoha Team 8 came over to them. Naruto waved a hand in front of Ino's still blank face. Hello, Ino? He said. The blonde suddenly jumped away from Sasuke, leaping at Naruto and giving him a big kiss on the cheek. The reactions from the four groups were mixed. Shikamaru and Choji were shocked mostly because Ino had done a complete 180 regarding Sasuke, and to Naruto of all people. Even if he had changed. Shino, Kiba and Jun were a little confused, since Ino and Sakura had often made a big production out of fighting for Sasuke's attention. Sakura was completely shocked by this, as if wondering how her best friend and rival could just abandon Sasuke out of the blue, and for Naruto. Masaka said nothing, as did Hagane. However, Hinata was upset. First Sasuke, now why Naruto-kun? She thought angrily. She swore to herself that she would not let the blonde girl have him that easily. Just then a man spoke up. You should quiet down. You don't know who's listening, he said. He had silver hair tied back in a ponytail, a pair of glasses over his eyes, and was dressed in a black bodysuit with lavender/white armor. Who are you? Said Naruto, but the man ignored him and pulled out a deck of cards. These are Ninefo cards, he said. You just put a certain amount of chakra into them, and just then the card showed info on a village. I have info on almost anyone. Yeah, I'd like to know about Rock Lee of Konoha, Gaara of the Sand, and Naruto Uzumaki of New Whirlpool, Sasuke said. Oh good, you know their names. So the guy put chakra into the cards and got 2 out of 3 people Sasuke wanted. Let's see, Rock Lee, member of Team 9, his sensei is Mato Guy. He's best known for being one of the greatest taijutsu fighters in the elemental countries. Gaara of the Sand, he is the youngest son of the Kazekage. He is the younger brother of Temari the Wind Mistress and Kankuro the Puppet Master. Every mission he has he always walks away without a scratch. I can't find a Naruto Uzumaki of New Whirlpool, but I have a Naruto Namikaze of New Whirlpool. Eldest son of the Uzukage, wielder of the steel body, Madigan, the target eye and his eyes went wide, the bloodline eye? He had something inside of him that had made him infamous, but now he's training to be Uzukage when the time comes. Is there anything else? Just then 2 shinobi from Oto approached them. Yeah, put this in your cards. We of the Oto will put out a show this piece of crap village will never forget, said one of them. Just then a man in a trench coat, cargo pants, boots and a bandana came in and started shouting. All right, you maggots. Asses in the seats, now, he snapped. Everyone quickly sat down. All right. My name is Ibiki, and I just became your worst nightmare. This is the beginning of the Chunin exams. It will consist of 3 parts. A written test, the Forest of Death, and fights to the death. I will be the proctor of the first test. This will be simple, a 20-question test. Some of the genin looked at the test paper in front of them on their desks. Hey! There is only 19 questions on the paper, one of them shouted. The last question will be asked verbally. Now sit down and shut up, Ibiki shouted. Now if you cheat on this test you fail. So don't let us catch you, ready? Begin. 19 questions and 6 teams later. All right, pencils down. It's time for the last question, Ibiki said. This question is so important that if you don't take it you fail, if you get it wrong you fail. That caused 2 more teams to leave. I see anyone else want to leave? Ibiki asked. This is bullshit, Naruto shouted, shocking everyone. My team and I didn't come all the way from New Whirlpool just to be psyched out by some thug in a trench coat. I hope he forgives me for that remark, he thought. And I don't think anyone here would want to quit now. Naruto-kun, Hinata thought, proud of her man. You tell him, cuz, thought Hagain. This Namikaze is interesting, thought Misaka, no wonder mother loved him. Damn, he's hot. Ino blushed. He's gotten stronger, Kiba thought with a smirk. However, Sasuke just glared at the blonde boy, as if aggravated that Naruto more showing more guts than he was. Are you sure you want to do this? Ibiki asked. Damn straight, he snapped. Who's with me? He turned to the class. The rest of the room stood up, indicating their decision. All right, to everyone that is left in this room you pass. Ibiki smiled. Huh? Naruto said, obviously confused. I'm not just an ANBU and proctor of this exam, I'm a member of the torture and interrogation squad, he said as he took off his bandana showing his scars. Proof that he had experience in his specific field. If you guys can get through this, then nothing will faze you. As he put his bandana back on, a woman with spiky hair crashed through the window. 24 teams? Losing your touch, Ibiki? She said as the ninja teams looked at her. She had purple hair tied up behind her head and dull brown eyes. She was dressed in a fishnet bodysuit, a black leather miniskirt, and open-toed boots. She also had on a trench coat and a headband on her head. The second she laid her eyes on Naruto she had to force down a blush. Oh my god, there he is. I didn't know his eyes were so beautiful. Hey, it's not my fault, it's the blondes. He rallied them together, Ibiki said to her. The second she laid her eyes on him, the boy smiled at her, which made her tingle. That's my man, Anko thought. Well then, all you soon-to-be dog chow, follow me outside to Area 44 now, she snapped at them. Without a single word, the ninja teams followed her out. The ninjas had finally assembled outside a steel gate connected to a very long steel wire fence that wrapped for miles around a thick, dense-looking forest. There were several gates spread apart evenly from each other, awaiting the different ninja teams' entry. Once Anko had explained the rules to the ninjas, Naruto couldn't help but make a comment. "So all we have to do is get both the Heaven and Earth scrolls and kill anyone that get in our way?" he asked. "Sound easy enough." He didn't flinch as a kunai grazed his cheek. Anko suddenly appeared behind him, wrapping her arms around his torso, her mouth right next to his ear. "You think so?" she asked as she licked his cheek, fresh blood dancing on her tongue. "What if others think the same way?" she said as she let him go and handed him a stack of papers. "Why don't you be a good boy and pass out the release forms?" As he did, Anko could feel a tingling all over her body. I held him and licked his blood. She kept her composure and went back to the gate as everyone eventually handed her their release forms. "All right, maggots. Into the forest of death." The teams grabbed their scrolls and dashed through their individual gates. Once Team Whirlpool had set up their traps, Naruto pulled the group in close to him. "Okay, War Council, right now," he said. The trio sat down in a circle and made their plan. "Hinata, I want you to take our scroll. Hagain and I will go to look for the other one we need." She nodded to Naruto, but looked hesitant. "Are you sure, Naruto-kun?" "You can do this, Hina-chan. We both have faith in you," Naruto said as he kissed her cheek. "Besides, I saw the way the other ninjas were looking at you. They think you're the weakest of us. They won't expect you to have it, and even if they did, they'll be seriously underestimating you." Hinata smiled. He handed her their scroll. With that, the trio separated to perform their jobs. Hagain leaped from tree branch to tree branch, looking and listening for any other ninja teams. He soon came across a trio of rain ninjas and was about to go on the attack, when he paused to listen to them. "I still think this is a bad idea," one of them said. "What now?" the second ninja said. "I mean her," the first one said. Hagain looked over and saw the kunoichi, who was lagging behind them. "Odd. It's almost like she's afraid of them," Hagain thought as he dropped silently behind a large tree that was next to them. "We should just kill her and be done with it," the first ninja said. "That would put us a team member down. You know how bad that would be," the second replied. "Are you actually trying to win this contest? We have another job." "I'm really not interested in your opinion, Ko," the second ninja said to the first. "The Hokage says that she can be useful, then I say use her. When the time comes we slit her throat. But until then, you don't touch her." Hagain looked back and noticed that the girl looked a little more scared than before. Did she overhear them? He thought, then decided on a workable strategy. He attacked them. Transforming into solid steel, he emerged from the tree and threw a heavy punch that sent the first ninja into another tree. The second ninja barely had time to turn his head to see a steel fist slam into his face. Hagain didn't stop as he laid into both of the ranged shinobis, pounding on them ferociously until they had died from having their flesh, bones and organs pounded into ground hamburger. The lone kunoichi fell to the ground, terrified of the solid steel figure that had just killed her teammates. Though a small part of her was upset that they were dead, her more immediate problem was their killer. Crying and terrified, she held up her arms to block the attack, when suddenly, her body turned into a golden Amazon. Hagain stared in shock at the almost 7-foot-tall figure dressed in a black and blue bodysuit. "Who are you?" he asked. "Aya Natsum," she replied. "Don't worry, I won't hurt you," he said. "Why you won't?" "No. But they would have," he said. "You overheard them, right? What they were going to do to you later." "She cut my throat," she said. Hagain looked at her as he turned back into his normal form. "Is this a bloodline? Were you born with this power?" he asked. "Yes," she said. He held out his hand. "Come with me if you want to live. I knew that rain was purging bloodlines. If you want, you can come with me. I can take you to New Whirlpool, where you'll be safe." I agreed to go with him. He told her where to go and who to ask for. She handed him their scroll and took off. Naruto, on the other hand, wasn't so lucky. Currently, he was firing on a grass nin that was chasing him. He was already injured from the first attack, which told him this grass nin was not normal. "Really, Naruto-kun, do you think those toys are going to stop me?" the grass nin said. Naruto was shocked. "Who the hell are you? How do you know my name?" he said. He laughed. My dear boy, who hasn't heard of the prodigy of New Whirlpool? He said. As to who I am, he said as his body suddenly changed, losing the henge to reveal a slightly deformed, long-haired, pale-skinned, yellow-eyed, snake-like man. I am Orochimaru, one of the Sannin. I've heard of you. The guy who betrayed Konoha. That's right. Are you shocked and filled with loathing towards me? Naruto looked at him like that was the dumbest question in the world. Hell no. After what this village did to me, why should I care if you betrayed them? He said. Then you'll stop fighting me and join me in my little plan, Orochimaru said. Naruto quickly raised his gun and fired, striking the snake man in the arm. Arg. I may hate Konoha, but I don't see any reason to trust you 1 inch. Impudent boy, Orochimaru shouted as he attacked again, only to have Naruto deck him with a chakra-enhanced fist. Once the snake man was down, Naruto ran back to where he promised to meet Hinata, unaware that the snake had been playing opossum. Meanwhile, Hagain and Hinata were fighting off Team 7 while Misaka was sipping his tea. I can't believe you betrayed Konoha like this, Sakura snapped as she tried to kick at Hinata. You even betrayed your clan. I don't care about Konoha. I don't care about my clan. I care about Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she easily blocked the kick with her hand. Something's wrong, Inner Sakura screamed. Hinata's never been this strong or fierce. The statement was proven correct when Sakura threw another punch, only to have Hinata catch it and spun her around, wrapping her arm tightly around Sakura's neck, bringing the pink-haired girl's ear next to the lavender-eyed girl's mouth. Answer me one question, Hinata, Sakura gasped. What? Hinata asked. Why do you love the dough? She asked, struggling to breath. I do not have enough time to give you all my reasons. So I will simply say this, unlike your Sasuke, my Naruto is capable of returning love. She replied as she released Sakura, spun her around and threw a high roundhouse kick that tossed the pink-haired girl into a tree, knocking her cold. Across the way, Hagain had already kicked Sasuke in the gut, face, legs, shoulder, and had him on the ground, pummeling his face as Naruto came running up to them. Naruto-kun! Hinata shouted as Orochimaru exploded out of the trees. You are mine, boy! The snake Sannin cried as he charged Naruto, only to miss Hagain as he came in and knocked Orochimaru into the nearest tree. Should have known it was him, Hagain said. Because that bastard Kabuto is here. Uncle Erasure was right about him being your lapdog. He probably even told you about Naruto's bloodline eye. Of course he did, my dear boy, he said as he broke free from Hagain's grip. And it must be mine, he shouted as he lunged at Naruto. Quick as lightning, Naruto transformed into steel, the snake Sannin's teeth nearly breaking on his skin. He slammed his hands into Naruto's body, but that had no effect on him, other than to break his hand and wrist. H. Orochimaru hissed in pain. Guess Kabuto didn't tell you about our steel bodies, did he? Naruto said as Hagain hit Orochimaru with an uppercut that launched him into the trees. As he flew through the air, Misaka quickly drew his sword and leapt into the air, cutting the snake man in half. He landed on his feet as the two parts of Orochimaru fell to the ground and started to evaporate. Damnation, he was a blood clone, Misaka said as he sheathed his sword. He went over to the tree and retrieved his glass. Come, we must be on our way. Don't tell me what to do, Sasuke snapped as he wiped the blood from his mouth. Misaka smacked him upside the head with his katana hilt, making him wince. You may stay if you want. I shall come back to pick up the pieces, he said as he picked up Sakura as Sasuke looked at the 3 Whirlpool ninjas. Reluctantly he started to follow him. Misaka-san, Hinata called. The samurai stopped and turned towards her as Hinata tossed him the scroll they needed. We had an extra, she said as he caught the scroll effortlessly. You have my thanks, Lady Hinata, he said with a small bow. As you have mine, Lord Misaka, she said with a returning bow. Hinata looked out of the large tree at the falling rain. Naruto and Hagain were asleep and she was on guard duty. She was cradling Naruto in her arms, just taking in his features. She smiled as she brushed her hand through his hair, a smile appearing on his face as she did that. Suddenly she noticed a trio of sound ninjas appear through the parting haze. Her expression turned foul instantly as one of them launched a sound blast at her. Hinata dove forward, taking the blast in the back. However, the blast didn't affect her, which shocked the ninjas. Hinata raised her head and turned back them, tears in her eyes. A sneer on her lips formed as she exploded from the tree, tackling the ninja and pounding his face with her hands. The other two ninjas just gasped in horror as the girl's hands became stained with blood. They didn't realize how this was possible. How had the mousy little Hyuga girl become such a fierce lioness? They only realized the obviousness of their situation when they saw her stand between them and her teammates. She was protecting someone precious to her. Namely, the blonde boy she had been cradling tightly in her arms. The lioness was protecting her mate. Thinking to double-team her, they attacked as one from both sides. Hinata launched herself at the kunoichi and kicked her down as the other ninja lunged at a sleeping Higane, only to have his head slammed into the tree by Higane's fast-rising fist. "That'll teach you to disturb my sleep," Higane growled as he rose up, slamming the ninja's head into the tree trunk several times before tossing him out into the rain. Higane and Hinata stared at the female Soundnin as she was backing up from them. "What are you doing here?" Hinata asked. We were told to fight Naruto Namikaze," she said, "to kill him." Higane winced as he felt Hinata's battle aura flare up. "Who told you to do that?" Higane asked. "The snake Sannin," she said. "You have just made the biggest mistake of your life," Hinata growled, her bloody hands contracting into claws. "Don't you know that attacking my mate will get you killed? I advise you to take your teammates and tell Orochimaru that if he wants to start a war with New Whirlpool, he's got one. Oto will be nothing but a smoking crater after we are done," Higane said. The kunoichi nodded, grabbing her teammates, and took off running for her life. Just then Naruto woke up. "Hey! What's going on?" he asked. "Everything's fine, Naruto-kun," Hinata said to him with a smile. Naruto was about to accept that, when he saw blood dripping from Hinata's hands. "Hina-chan!" he shouted as he raced over to her and took his hands into his. "What happened?" She started to say, trying to think up some kind of excuse, but failed on it due to his deep blue eyes staring at her. "We were attacked, weren't we?" Naruto said, not asking. "Yes," Higane said. "Hinata woke up first and fought them. Their fight woke me up and well." Naruto smiled as he threw his arms around Hinata. "I'm so proud of you, Hina-chan," he shouted. You are?" she gasped as she felt his embrace tighten. "Yes. You fought another group of ninjas on your own in order to protect us, how can I not be proud of you?" he said as he kissed Hinata on the lips. Hinata thanked Kushina's training that enabled her not to pass out as the boy she loved passionately displayed his affection. Once Hinata had washed off the blood in a nearby stream, the trio headed for the tower where they opened the scrolls, and Rimaru appeared. "Well done, all of you," he said to them. "I'm sure you have a lot to tell us, so let's go inside for a bit," he said as they walked in to relax. Naruto was asleep, resting up for his match in the prelims, which was tomorrow. Hinata was watching over him, stroking his hair gently, enjoying being able to care for him so tenderly. He was still sore from the injury that Orochimaru had given him, a kunai to the joint between his shoulder and arm, a fact that he ignored when his concern for Hinata rose up. Seeing her bloody hands made Naruto forget his own injuries, but after he had released her, he remembered them. The slight surge of pain wasn't too bad to take. Just then Higane helped Enko into the room. "What happened, Heiga-kun?" Hinata asked as he laid the battered and bruised woman down on the bed next to Naruto. "She was attacked by Orochimaru a few hours ago. He wanted her to attack Naruto. When she said no, he attacked her. I came upon their fight and managed to drive him off, then brought her here," Higane said. Enko looked over at Naruto, noticing his injury wrapped in a fresh bandage. "What happened to the kid?" she asked. "Oh no. Please be alright, Naruto." "He was attacked by Orochimaru in the forest. He tried to give him the curse seal, but he used his steel body technique to block him," Higane said. "Oh, thank goodness," Enko said with a relieved sigh. "Are you going to be alright, Enko-sensei?" Hinata asked. "Yes," she replied. "Freaking Snake is tougher than he looks, but so am I," she stated. "Higane, go and get some ice and the medicinal herbs from the pack Kushina-sama gave me," Hinata said. "What are you doing?" Enko asked as the boy went to perform his job. "Kushina-sama taught me healing techniques as well as taijutsu. I will be able to accelerate your healing time," she said. Naruto may have been the team leader on this, but in his weakened state Hinata had chosen to take charge. In the tower's sleeping quarters, the group of ninjas rested and recovered their strength for tomorrow's activities. It was late that night when Naruto finally stirred. Enko had been waiting for him to wake up so that she could talk to him. She was grateful to Hinata for her healing techniques, but now it was time for a little heart-to-heart. "Naruto-kun?" she asked tentatively. "Why, Enko-sensei?" Naruto asked, more than a little curious as to what she was doing next to her. "What are you doing here?" he asked, then noticing her injuries. "Who attacked you?" "Orochimaru," she said. Naruto grimaced as she said that. Bit by bit he was starting to hate the snake Sannin, and Enko could see it in his eyes. The pair spent the next hour just talking, telling each other about their likes and dislikes, hobbies and dreams for the future. It was after all this that she told Naruto her most taboo secret. "You were trained by that damned snake?" he gasped. Enko nodded her head, pulling her shirt off of her shoulder, revealing the curse seal Orochimaru had given her years ago, which ultimately made her his slave. Which meant that he could hurt her no matter where she was. If he wanted to, he could kill her. But her most deepening fear was that Naruto would despise her now because he knew. "I will understand if you hate me for this. I just felt you deserved the truth." Naruto lifted Enko's head up to look into her eyes. He smiled at her, the woman seeing that there was no hate in them. "How can I hate my fiancé?" he said as he pulled the woman into a gentle hug. Enko felt a wave of love wash over her as the boy held her tight. She wrapped her arms around his body and returned the hug, tears falling from her eyes for the first time. "You know," she said in a whispered voice. "Yes. I do. My father left a few letters with my mother before he died. One of those letters mentioned you. I didn't say anything before because I didn't know you. But now that I do, I'm not upset at all. Enko, there's something I have to tell you," he said as he pulled away from her. "Yes?" "It's about Hina-chan." "Your girlfriend," she said. "Yes. Don't get me wrong, I like you, but Hinata was the first girl in my life who cared about me who wasn't related to me. I can't just make her a second," he said. "However, I can at least do this," he said as he placed his hand on her shoulder. His hand started to glow, a slight static shock surging over her body, which was replaced by a warm tingling sensation. What did you do?" Enko asked as Naruto removed his hand from her shoulder. "I placed a mild suppression seal over the cursed seal Orochimaru gave you. It's only a temporary solution, but it will keep that damned snake from controlling you. I'll need to talk to my mother about anything more permanent," he said. Enko smiled as she hugged the boy tightly, kissing his cheek to thank him for what he had done. Meanwhile, from the doorway to their room, a certain pale lavender-eyed girl watched intently, no feelings of anger bubbling up inside her. She had heard what had been said and understood. Opening the door to reveal herself, she walked over to the bed and sat down next to the pair. "Hina-chan," Naruto gasped the second the door had opened. "It's all right, Naruto-kun," Hinata said. It is?" "Yes. Your father made this arrangement, so I will understand you wanting to honor it. I thank you for wanting to include me in this, and I am not averse to sharing you," she said, taking his hand into her own. Enko just stared at the girl, shocked at what she believed the girl was proposing. "You mean you would be willing?" Enko started to say, but couldn't finish. "Yes," Hinata said with a nod. "I will not give up my Naruto-kun for anything, or for anyone, but I know his heart is big enough for us to share. And if you are willing—" "Yes," Enko shouted. "Good," Hinata said with a smile. "Now, as to our arrangements." Naruto lay back in the bed and smiled as his two fiancés started setting ground rules for each other. He especially liked the one about, "If you run off with my Naruto, be sure I will hunt you down to the ends of the earth." When morning and breakfast came, the prelims were announced and everyone was to assemble in the main chamber. Naruto was now in a pair of tearaway pants, a black t-shirt, black bike shorts, sandals and his headband. His hands were taped up and his hair was in a ponytail. "Like the outfit, cuz?" Hagane said. "Just something I threw on," he said as he stepped out of the room. Suddenly, he was tackled to the floor by a striped blur, crashing into the middle of the floor. It was Tora. She was dressed in a white bikini top, black and white hot pants, pinkish stockings with thick socks and no sandals. His face was buried in her cleavage as she purred while everyone around started to laugh. "Great. I feel like a Pooh Bear," Naruto groaned as he tried to get up. "So what am I? Tigger?" Tora giggled. Once everyone had had their laughs, they got up and headed to the arena. Once everyone was assembled, Sarutobi stood up and made his announcement. Congratulations, you have made to the preliminaries of the Chunin exam. You should all be very proud of yourselves, he said. This will be the third phase of the exam. However, unlike the second phase, which consisted of teamwork, this will be a tournament-style fight, person to person. It will be every man and woman for his or herself. Good luck, he said. With that, the first match was announced. Misaka Takeuchi vs. Kiba Inuzuka. Everyone who knew the pair were shocked. Mostly because it was basically 2 against 1. Kiba and Akamaru leapt down onto the arena floor. Misaka was about to go down, when Sasuke grabbed his arm. Win this match. Don't embarrass us, he said to the samurai. Yeah, Sakura added. Misaka gave Sasuke an even look, before he kicked Sasuke's legs out from under him, pushing him hard to the floor with his hand, quickly taking his sword out and aiming it at the Uchiha's neck. I do not have to do what you say, he said in a tight voice. You are not a member of my clan's council nor my parent. I do not respect you, the Haruno girl, nor our so-called sensei. Try and force me to respect you, Heikate, and the line ends with you, he said to the cycloptic ninja. With that said, he walked down to the arena to fight. The fight itself was fairly impressive, with Kiba and Akamaru trying to double-team Misaka by having the dog turn into a clone of Kiba. While Misaka had to admit that the pair had impressive teamwork savvy, he didn't let that distract him. Moving at speed to match them, Misaka was able to deduce who was who, and used the reverse side of his sword to strike Kiba with after he had charged his sword with chakra. He struck Kiba's nerve points with incredible precision, laying out the boy within a matter of seconds. Winner Misaka Takeuchi, said the proctor. Misaka looked at Kiba and bowed to his body, which Akamaru was pawing at, then he bowed to the proctor. He left the floor as Kiba was carried off, leaving the floor open to the next fight. The rest of the matches were somewhat spectacular to watch. Sasuke, Shikamaru, Shino, Temari, Hagane, Jun and Kankuro won their matches. Choji lost his match and Ino and Sakura's fight ended in a double knockout. Misaka just shook his head, realizing that Sakura had been trying so hard to impress her dear Sasuke that she left herself vulnerable to an easy-to-block strike, resulting in her being knocked down along with Ino. However, Ino woke up as she was being carried out. As she did, she saw Naruto had come over to her. You did good, Ino-chan, he said. But I kinda lost, she said weakly. Technically. At least you didn't let your guard down. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she said before they carried her off. Next up was Rock Lee, and he was facing Gaara. The Jinchuriki unleashed nearly all of his awesome powers to strike down the taijutsu expert. However, once Lee got the go-ahead to drop his weights, even Gaara's sand shields couldn't protect him against Lee's blinding speed. He struck down Gaara with a fury of lightning-fast punches and kicks, throwing him across the arena and into the wall. Winner Rock Lee, the proctor coughed. The next fight was Hinata against Neji. Naruto looked at his girl, who was more than a little freaked out. Don't worry, he whispered to her, clutching her hand tightly. You trained with Mom. You can beat him, he said to her. Hinata smiled as Naruto gave her a reassuring kiss on the cheek. Walking down the arena floor, she stared at her cousin, sensing something different about him. Pushing the thought from her mind, she focused her attention to the fight. Neji smiled internally as he felt something different about his younger cousin. To him, she felt stronger. I didn't think I'd be facing you, Hinata-chan, Neji said. I didn't know I'd be facing you either, Neji-kun, Hinata said. A lot has changed. For all of us, he said, as he brushed his hand over his forehead. Hinata looked at Neji a little confused, until she realized what he might have meant. The pair nodded at each other, and quickly leapt forward. The gentle fist technique they both used proved to be somewhat useless, especially when Neji realized he had been right about Hinata's growing in strength. But still intent on winning, Neji pulled out the Kaiten maneuver, only to have Hinata smirk at him. Reverse Kaiten, she shouted as she spun around, chakra being pulled into her, as Neji's Kaiten had stopped spinning. He looked at her in shock. I've learned a lot since I left, she said as she suddenly rushed forward to use her technique. 2 palms. 4 palms. 8 palms. 16 palms. 32 palms. 64 palms. She shouted as she blazed towards Neji. I'm not finished. 128 palms. She cried out as the impact struck Neji hard with precise moves. Neji staggered, barely able to hold himself up as he forced his body to perform one last action. You beat me, I am proud of you, he said weakly before he passed out onto the floor. Winner Hinata Hyuga, the proctor said. Naruto cheered loudly as he leaped down onto the arena floor and engulfed Hinata in a tight hug. I knew you could do it, Hina-chan, he shouted as the girl hugged him back. Excuse me, Namikaze, you are the last fighter, the proctor said. Oh cool. Who am I going against? Just then Kabuto entered the arena. You. I thought you quit. I just went to the bathroom, he joked. It'll be a pleasure to destroy you, Uzumaki, he said. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Moron. Didn't you hear the proctor? There's no Uzumaki here. My name is Namikaze. Kabuto grimaced as he rushed the boy, Hinata leaping off the arena floor as Naruto changed into his steel form. Kabuto slammed into his body and bounced off, his head in pain already, and the fight hadn't even started. Naruto ripped off his pants, which were followed by his t-shirt and boots. Now let's go, Naruto stated. The blonde boy leapt at Kabuto, tackling him to the ground, then pulling him up and throwing him over his shoulder against the far wall. Kabuto didn't have time to retaliate, as Naruto leapt at him and thrust his leg forward, slamming into Kabuto's leg and snapping it. The snake lapdog tried out in indescribable pain. Kabuto, if you don't mind, could you keep the noise down? Naruto asked. I mean, come on, no one wants to hear you crying like a girl. He pulled Kabuto up and tossed him into the center of the room. Once he landed on his chest, the blonde boy leaped into the air and came down hard, landing on Kabuto's back, breaking his ribs and causing the man to cry out once again. Naruto sighed. Kabuto, once again, keep the noise down or I might have to ask Hokage-sama to disqualify you for disturbing these people. Not like he could help it, Kiba mumbled. Naruto pulled Kabuto up by his collar and decided to finish the fight. Wind and steel style, bring the pain, he shouted as he punched Kabuto with a full-strength punch, hurling him like a rag doll across the arena and creating a human-shaped hole in the wall. Winner, Naruto Namikaze, the proctor said with a cough. Naruto went back to his cheering teammates as the Hokage called everyone into the center of the arena. There he had everyone pull out a number from a hat that looked like his own. Once everyone had a number, he had them read it. The result of this was that the persons with the same number would face each other in the final rounds of the Chunin exams. The contestants were Naruto vs. Sasuke, Shikamaru vs. Temari, Hinata vs. Hagane, Rock Lee vs. Misaka, Shino vs. Kankuro, and Jun vs. winner of the Shino/Kankuro match. The final phase of the Chunin exam will take place within 1 month's time. In that span, you will all be able to rest and improve your skills to face your opponents. I wish you all the best of luck, Sarutobi said to the group. Team Whirlpool were relaxing in the hot springs. Naruto had his eyes closed as he, Rimaru and Hagane were soaking their aching muscles. Ah, this is heaven, Naruto said. The other two just chuckled as their cousin was resting for the first time in a long time. His bed rest from getting attacked by Orochimaru didn't count, only because he hadn't gotten fully recovered. Hey bro? Hagane said as Rimaru looked over to him. Want to make a little bet? What are we betting? Rimaru asked. Me, Naruto, and Hinata make Chunin, said the steel body user. Rimaru didn't need to really think about that. Alright, I'm in, he said, but held up a finger to add, but he points to Naruto, he wins the tournament. Naruto looked over to them as soon as he caught his ears. Sure, I have faith in him, he said. Just then Naruto put his 2 cents in. I want in, he said. They looked at their cousin as he replied. I know I can't bet on myself and I won't throw any fight. But I think Hagane would win this one. The tournament? Why do you say that? Hagane asked. Because you have more talent than I do using the steel body. Plus I saw the way you fight, you're an animal, Naruto said. They laughed. What they didn't know was the girls were listening to them. So, my brothers want to make a little bet, huh? Said Reiko. She took a piece of special paper and looked over her to her teammates. You girls want in? Sure, but ask them what the bet is first, Tora said as she cuddling up to Hinata. The tiger girl was sitting in the former Hyuga heir's lap, said girl blushing heavily as Tora nuzzled her neck. Oh, you're so cute, she purred. Reiko shook her head as she tossed the chakra-written note over to the men's side of the bath and hit Hagane in the head. Ow! he shouted. Sorry, Hagain, Reiko shouted. Rimaru opened the note. We heard you are making a bet on the outcome of the exams. We want in. He read, What do you want to know? He shouted. The bet, Reiko shouted. Rimaru's betting on me winning the tournament. I'm betting Hagain and Hagain's betting Naruto shouted. Hinata, sis! Hagain shouted, then turned to his cousin. Sorry bro, but somebody had to bet her. They laughed. What they didn't know was Hinata was blushing over the fact her opponent is betting against himself, and a little mad that her boyfriend would bet against her. After they were done in the hot springs, the two groups walked out in fresh clothes. Rimaru and Reiko were cleaning their glasses, Tora was trying to tie her own hair into long braids, and Hagain was making sure no one had stolen anything from his knapsack. While they did that, Hinata walked up to Naruto and playfully slapped him on the arm. Why would you bet against me? She asked. I forgot that you were going against Hagain, he said to her. Honestly, I'm sorry. I'll forgive you on one condition, she said with a smile. What condition? Naruto asked as Hinata whispered something in his ear. He smiled as nodded to her. That's fair. So what are we betting? Hagain asked the group as he stood up from his knapsack. How about, winner gets lunch from the losers for 6 months? Rimaru said. The group all looked at each other as they mulled that over. If Hinata wins the tournament, Naruto has to make her, Tora and myself lunch for 6 months, Reiko said. If Hagain wins the tournament, Reiko, Rimaru and I have to make him lunch for 6 months, Tora said. And if Naruto wins the tournament, Hagain and I will make him lunch for 6 months. Since we are on the same team, Hinata said. The bet set, the group all agreed on it as they heard someone behind them. Bet all you want, you're just going to lose, the ninja boy said. It was Sasuke, alone for a change. Why? Because Kakashi's Naruto started, trying very hard not to laugh out loud. Going to train you? He said, then broke into laughter. Sasuke started to get mad. And where's the pink-haired banshee who's always hanging on to you? Tora asked. Gave her the slip, Sasuke snapped. Man, you must be a gay eunuch, Hagain said. Really? I mean, she'd give it up to you if you asked? Reiko said. Maybe getting laid would take the asshole off you, Naruto said. Do you know who I am? Sasuke asked. Hagain couldn't resist that one. The Juggernaut's bitch, he shouted. With that, the entire group started cracking up laughing. Naruto was on his ass, rolling around on the street. Sasuke, easily upset, pulled his kunai and hurled it at the rolling blonde. But at the last second, Naruto caught the kunai with his hand and tossed it back to Sasuke. The blade landed at his feet, right next to his big toe, and Naruto was still laughing. Sasuke growled as he spun around on his heels and stormed off, leaving his kunai in the dirt. It was just afternoon as Hagain met up with Aya Natsum at their hotel. The woman was sitting in the lobby talking to Erasure, just like Hagain had told her to find, but they had been joined by a gorgeous lavender-haired woman dressed in a chunnin vest, black cargo pants, and open-toed boots. Her headband was tied on her right arm, and she had a long katana sword in its sheath clutched in her left hand. He went over to them and introduced himself. Uncle, he said, nodding to the older man. Aya, he said, nodding to her. Hello? My name is Hagain, what's your name? He asked the second girl. My older sister, Maya, Aya said, then turned to the lavender-haired woman. This is the ninja who offered us a safe haven over the purge. A safe haven? Maya asked. Where? New Whirlpool, Erasure said. Maya looked at Hagain. You can ensure our safety? And passage to New Whirlpool? Of course, my aunt. My sister, Erasure added. Is the Yuzukage, he said. She's coming to Konoha within the month for the final exams. Hinata leaned back against Naruto's chest as the blonde boy wrapped his arms around the girl, his left hand coming up to stick another octopus-shaped hot dog into her mouth. She moaned as she accepted the piece of food. This was a wonderful idea, Hina-chan. A quiet little picnic for the two of us, Naruto said as his hand went down to grab a small sushi piece and brought it up. I just thought we hardly had any time to be alone, with all the training we went through with Hagain and the others. Even your mother left us little time to be alone, Hinata said as she accepted the sushi from him. I understand Tora's been getting friendly with you, Naruto said in a slightly teasing tone. Hinata blushed, nearly choking on her sushi. That was mean, Naruto-kun, Hinata said with a slight cough. Sorry. I just couldn't resist, he said, kissing her cheek gently. That's so sweet, I'm getting cavities, a new voice said, causing the pair to nearly jump. They turned to see three figures. One was a blonde-haired woman with spiky hair and fishnets, and a large fan on her back. Two was a slightly rotund man in a black outfit with makeup on his face and some strange object on his back. And three was a younger boy with red hair, circles around his eyes, brown and red clothes, and a large gourd on his back. Naruto knew who they were. Sand ninjas, he said. To what do we owe the pleasure of your presence? He asked, slowly going for his gun. I wish to speak with you in private, Naruto Namikaze, the boy in red said. Really? The blonde boy said, both him and Hinata standing up. Gaara? The blonde woman asked. Temari. Kankuro. Leave us. I'll be along shortly, the boy said. Understood, the painted man said. The two sand ninjas leapt away into the trees, leaving Gaara alone. Woman. Leave us, Gaara said to Hinata, who was standing behind Naruto. Don't go ordering Hinata around, beast host, Naruto said to the red sand nin. Hinata and Gaara looked at each other, and then to Naruto. You know then, Gaara said in an even tone. Yes. I felt it back when we were taking the written test. I wasn't sure until now, Naruto said. You still have your tailed beast. And you do not, Gaara stated. But this is not why I have come. Then why? I seek your help, he said. My help? What do you need my help for? Naruto asked, Hinata standing right behind him. The snake plans to destroy Konoha. Orochimaru, Naruto said with disgust. Sound and Sand are working with him. And I suspect even some Konoha ninja as well, Gaara said. Danzo probably. Naruto shrugged. Why are you telling us this? Hinata asked. Are you trying to recruit us? No, Gaara said. Then why? Naruto asked. I don't trust the snake, he stated. Goes without saying, Naruto replied. But still, why are you telling us this? The Kazekage believes Konoha's destruction will be more profitable for our village. You don't agree? I do. But I do not like being a pawn if I can avoid it. I prefer to choose my own path. You want out, Naruto deduced. Yes. Naruto bowed his head and closed his eyes, as if in thought. After a few seconds, he raised it up and looked at the red-haired boy. Depending on what you do next, I'll make my decision. But one thing, do you know when this attack will happen? No. Though I suspect it will be at the end of the exam, he said before he leaped away. Hinata clutched Naruto's hand as he just watched where the sand nin had been. While Naruto and Hinata were on their picnic, Rimaru, Reiko, Higane and Tora were walking into the Hokage's office. You wanted to see us, Hokage-sama? Rimaru asked. Sarutobi sighed. I had hoped Naruto would be with you. He's busy at the moment. You can tell us and we'll tell him, Higane said. Sarutobi accepted that as he spoke. There are a few things you need to know, and they are all in the manor, he said as he gave the group a key to the old Namikaze manor. Thank you, sir. Let's go, people, Higane said to the others. With that, the group set off to find Naruto and Hinata. In the manor's library, the pale-eyed girl just stared at the books. What are we searching for, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. I guess we'll know it when we see it, he said. Ji-san wouldn't hand us the keys to the manor without reason. I got it, Rimaru said, finding a scroll with the Uzumaki/Namikaze seal on it. Naruto, heads up, he said and tossed him the scroll. Naruto caught it and opened it up. Oh my god, he said, which caused everyone to stop what they were doing and look at him. What's wrong? Hinata asked. This is one of the most powerful summon scrolls in all of the elemental countries, Naruto said as he continued to read it. Guess who the recent signer was? Uncle Minato? Reiko asked as Naruto nodded. He's the recent signer? Yep, he said. Well, what is it? Tora asked. Naruto tossed it to her, and she read it. Amazon Kunoichi contract? Yeah, Naruto said as he bit his thumb. I think everyone should sign this, you too, Hinata. Naruto said as his blood hit the paper. Each of them signed the contract in turn as Tora just stared at the scroll. I wonder what we can call? Tora asked. It says that we can summon any and all powerful Amazon Kunoichi, Naruto said. An army of warriors, apparently. He smiled. It was late at night when Naruto arrived at the Furos. He had received a note at dinner that if he wanted to know more about his father to come alone to the Furos. Well, he had arrived, and he was indeed alone. Okay, I'm here, now where is this guy? He thought as he looked around. Just then a man with white hair and dark eyes with red streaks coming down his cheeks appeared. He was dressed in a red, green and black robe, a mesh shirt, green pants, sandals and a spiked headband with the kanji 4 oil on it. Naruto felt someone approaching him from behind and put himself into an attack position. Alright jerk, let's see how you like a raisin-gan sandwich with extra knuckle, Naruto thought with a growl. Jiraiya saw Naruto near the Furos and quickly but silently approached him. Quick as lightning, the blonde boy turned around and hurled a raisin-gan at the older man, who was barely able to block it with his own hastily made raisin-gan, the blast knocking the man onto his butt. Old man, you don't know how lucky you are, Naruto said as he helped the Sannin up. You can create raisin-gans. Do I know you? You should, boy. I am the Great Toad Sannin, Jiraiya, he said elaborately but in a hushed voice. Recognition showed up in Naruto's eyes. Oh, you're my father's sensei, the pervert, Naruto said. Jiraiya's face faulted into the pavement. What are you talking, he said, his own realization coming up. You're Minato's kid. Well, it's nice to finally meet you, he said. I missed the Chunin exams, but I heard you made it to the finals. Congrats. Thanks, Naruto said. So what are you really doing here, if you have a new home and a family and all? I'm here to offer safe haven to persecuted bloodline ninjas. Really? Sounds like a charity, or a relief fund. It is. Mom approved the plan, but we're carrying it out, he said. So is there anything you want me to teach you? The Sannin asked. Thanks, but no thanks, Jiraiya-sama. I already have what I need. I know the Rasengan, I already have 2 parts of my dad's Thunder God Jutsu down, all I have to do is either find one of his Trikanai or smith it myself, Naruto said. But I am going to need your help to protect the others. Why? Orochimaru is leading Sound and Sand in an attack against Konoha, he stated. What? Are they crazy? They can't. They can, and they will. My best guess is during the final phase of the exam. Konoha won't allow that. Unless some of them were part of it. Jiraiya paled at that accusation. Who is it? Danzo? Wouldn't doubt it, but I don't know for sure. Well, that's just great. What about Sarutobi? Or your mom? Couldn't she get an army here to help us out? She could, but she doesn't care for this village any more than I do. I've got no love for this village either, kid. After what they did to you and your old man, after what they tried to do to others who never deserved it, but I think we'd better see Sarutobi in the morning to make a plan. All right? Fair enough, Naruto said as the pair walked out into the night. It was early morning when both Naruto and Jiraiya appeared in Sarutobi's office. Jiraiya! Naruto! Sarutobi gasped as the pair appeared in front of his desk. I know we should have called first, Sensei, but this is rather important, Jiraiya said. Oh? What exactly? The Hokage asked. Naruto and Jiraiya quickly explained what Naruto had told Gaara had told him yesterday. Are you sure about this, Naruto? He asked. The boy nodded. Do you know how many are out there? They've had time to plan and prepare. And considering they have an additional month before the final phase of the exam, Naruto said. And add to the fact you've already got everybody guarding your elite guests, your army is cut in half and I sure as hell don't think Danzo's gonna help you, Jiraiya said. It's possible he's in on it with Orochimaru. That's a best guess. I've got no proof for it, Naruto said. Of course not. Danzo's not so big a fool as to announce it or anything. Sarutobi sighed. Enemies outside, enemies inside, no allies to speak of. Wonderful. While the older man brooded, Naruto came up with an idea. Ji-san, I think I have an idea on how to get some proof, Naruto said and did the seals for the Kage Bunshin. However, Something happened, and where there should have been a Naruto clone stood a young man with silvery white hair, blue eyes, and a demon left arm. He was dressed in a long, black, short-sleeved trench coat, black leather pants, a red vest covering a white shirt, and black boots. He had a strange-looking sword strapped to his back and a holster under his right arm. What the hell? Naruto gasped. That's supposed to be a clone. The clone didn't say anything, just stared at Naruto, and Naruto understood him. His name's Nero. He can help us, Naruto said. He can? How? Jiraiya asked. And how did he get the Rinnegan? He wondered. He's going to find some proof for us, Naruto said. Then he looked at Nero. Be careful. Nero nodded and took off in a puff of black smoke. Naruto, do you know what you just did? Jiraiya asked. How did you get his body? I don't know. At first I thought that the Rinnegan didn't work. I was practicing with it, and went to this old abandoned cemetery. Flashback, New Whirlpool. After training with Higane and Hinata, Naruto went into a library and read about dojutsus. I wonder if we have one. He read about all the different dojutsus out there, but when he got to the Rinnegan he felt that maybe that was the one he had. He sent some chakra to his eyes and he felt something in them. He read the scroll and saw how they were to look. He took off his headband to see his reflection, and sure enough they matched the picture on the scroll. Now, it says that they could send a small portion of their soul into the body of a dead person, and they can then summon them up like a Kage Bunshin. I've got to try this out, he thought. Going alone at night he found an abandoned cemetery, and selected what he felt was a good grave. He wasn't sure if the grave was good or not, but he just thought it would work. Having chosen the grave, he activated his Rinnegan and sent a small amount of his soul into the body. However, after nearly 10 minutes of nothing, the blonde boy became dejected, giving up and heading back to the village, not telling anyone about the Rinnegan. After all, why would he tell anyone, even his mother, about a technique that failed? End flashback. I guess he just needed more time to get powerful enough to fully manifest himself, Naruto said. Alright, Sarutobi said, slightly surprised at what had just happened. Now, does Kushina know about this, or is her ANBU coming just to protect her? He asked. Red Swirl, Whirlpool's answer to Root, Ed, will be coming with Mom as her guard, but there will be platoons of Whirlpool shinobi outstationed around Konoha when they arrive, he said, which appeased the third Hokage. With that settled, Naruto left and went back to his hotel. On his way back someone came up to him. He was dressed in a long black robe, had white hair, silver eyes and a white mustache. Excuse me? He said. Naruto looked at him. Yes, what can I do for you? Naruto asked. I was wondering, would you be interested in going to a costume party? The man asked. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Costume party? He asked. Yes, Namikaze-san, the man said. Naruto looked at the man. You know me? He asked, inwardly smacking himself. Idiot. Word has to have been out by now about me. Okay, let's say that I want to go. How would I get an outfit? Follow me, he said, leading the boy to a shop that wasn't there before. Welcome to my costume shop, he said as Naruto just stared at the two huge floors of costumes everywhere. It's called Spells R Us, but we also have costumes. Naruto looked around and stopped when he came to a black bodysuit with silver trim, a full face mask with a visor, and a bunch of real-looking weapons with it. That is our Snake Eyes costume, the man said. When is this party? Naruto asked. Just before the Chunin exams finals, he replied. Okay, then I'd like to get some costumes for my team and family, Naruto said. After an hour of searching and selecting, Naruto paid for the costumes and took off. However, on his way back to the hotel, Naruto ran into some ANBU. Oh, here we go, Naruto thought. Yes, can I help you? He asked. I thought I said if Danzo wanted me, to come and get me himself. Danzo did not send us to get you, demon, the leader said. Then who sent you, asshole? He said. Just then he heard the shing of a katana released as it was under the ANBU's chin at his neck. I did, Namikaze-sama, said the matriarch of the Takeuchi clan. Now apologize to Namikaze-sama before you become a head shorter, the woman said. I'd rather die than apologize to that demon. Just then the ANBU heard the click of a handgun cocking and felt the muzzle pressed against his head. Naruto thumbed the hammer back, his finger on the trigger. Okay, then I apologize to you, Takeuchi-sama, for getting blood on you, Naruto said and was about to pull the trigger. Two members of his team were about to attack Naruto, when they found a pair of kodachis at their throats, which stopped them in their tracks. What? The leader gasped, as the kodachi-wielding ninja pulled off their masks revealing themselves to be Takeuchi members. Taicho just smirked and gave out an order. These men bore me, kill them, she said softly. It was then that the ANBU captain spoke up. All right, I'm sorry Namikaze-sama, he said. Naruto looked at him with an annoyed gaze and shook his head. Sure, you apologize when your own life is on the line. You should have thought about that all those times you attacked me. All those times you got drunk and tried to kill me, Naruto said. All those times you tried to rape me, one of the Takeuchi kunoichi said. And the time you threw acid in my face destroying the skin around my eye, Taicho said. Kill them. Two deep slashes and one point-blank gunshot dropped all three ANBU to the ground. Shed no tears for those who deserve it not, she said as she replaced her sword. She turned back towards Naruto and smiled. Namikaze-sama, would you care to join me for tea? I would be honored, Takeuchi-sama, Naruto said, still carrying his purchased costumes. Naruto sipped his tea with a sigh, enjoying the subtle warmth that flowed down his throat. Across the table, Lady Taicho just smiled at her blonde guest. So my father really wanted you to adopt me? Naruto asked. Minato and I were good friends. When we were younger we made a pact that should the other perish in battle, we would adopt their children, she said. Then why didn't you? He asked. At first she didn't say anything. The sad expression in her eye and the sneer on her lips told him everything. It was the council. Wasn't it? Naruto said. They stopped Jisan from doing a lot of things for me. It probably wouldn't have taken much to stop a clan head. Taicho sighed as she picked up her teacup and took a sip. I feel I owe you an apology for not being able to do more for you. You don't owe me any apology, Taicho-sama, he said. It's not your fault. Either way, that will change soon. Soon? Why? A smile turned her lips up, changing her expression from one of anger to one of beauty. I have been offered a position in another village. I will be accepting it after the Chunin exams, she explained. Naruto smiled. That's good. You'll be able to get away from this village. Yes. It will be a new start. For all of us, she said as a new person walked into the room. Hello, mother, Misaka Takeuchi said as he entered the room. Ah, Misaka. Welcome back, Taicho greeted her son. Forgive me, mother. I didn't know you had company. It's alright. I assume you know Naruto Namikaze? Naruto bowed his head to the young samurai. Misaka bowed his head in response to the young ninja. We know of each other, Misaka said. Yeah. We even have a few things in common, Naruto said. Oh? Like what? Taicho asked. We don't like Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto said. We don't like the Konoha Council, Misaka said. We don't trust the Leaf Village, Naruto said. And we've been persecuted by the ninjas of this village, Misaka said. That, and we've also kicked Sasuke's but more than once. Naruto laughed. The pair of Takeuchis joined him in that as Misaka joined the pair for some tea. After having tea with Taicho and her son, Naruto walked back to the hotel, costumes in hand. Erasure and the others saw him in the lobby and came up to him. Naruto. Need a hand? Erasure asked. I've got it, thanks uncle. Is everyone here? He asked. Erasure nodded, staring curiously at the packages. Good. He then started handing out costumes to the others. The first one was Hinata. I'm sure you heard about the costume party that's going on the night before the finals, right? The group nodded. Well, I got you guys some outfits. These are for you, Hina-chan, he said as he handed them to her. She took them and nodded. I'd like to see you in it. All right, Naruto-kun, she said, but waited until he passed out the other costumes. Here is yours again, Naruto said as he handed the bag to him. Thanks, he said, accepting the bag. Now for the rest of the team. This one's Rimaru's, he said, handing the bag to him. You got a costume for me? He asked. Naruto nodded, then he handed a bag to Tora. This one is for you, Tora-chan. Thank you, Naruto, she said as she hugged him before taking the bag. Reiko, this one's for you, Naruto said, handing her a bag. She took it from him. Thank you, dear cousin, she said with a smile. This one is yours, Uncle Erasure, Naruto said, holding out his costume bag. Erasure took it. Thanks, kid. The last bag was for Rin. This one is yours, Rinchan. Thank you, Naruto, she sang. With their costumes in hand, the group returned to their rooms to try them on. Back in their room, Hinata was curious about what costume Naruto had gotten her. But right as she was about to find out, Tora snuck up and put a blindfold over her eyes. Tora! Hinata gasped. No cheating using your Byakugan, she said. Cheating? It'll be more fun to have you put the costume on then see what you look like. Tora smiled. Oh, alright, Hinata said. With that, Tora opened the first bag and saw a white leather, shoulderless, midriff and cape all in one, opera-length gloves, white tights, stockings, pumps and a choker. A long blonde wig completed the outfit. 1. You are so kinky, Naruto. Tora giggled to herself, then she unzipped the other bag and saw a long, sleeveless white robe with a diamond on the back and the kanji 4-2 in the middle and markings at the bottom, with a neck clamp attached to long twin pigtails with rods in them. Okay, Hina-chan, I'm going to help you undress. What? Hinata gasped. You have to be down to your skivvies for this outfit to look good on you, Tora said. The dark-haired girl practically glowed in embarrassment as Tora undressed her until she was down to her panties. Tora was grinning as she helped Hinata into her outfit. While this was going on, Hinata's mind was in a whirlwind as to what exactly she would look like. Once Tora was finished, she stared at the girl. She was gorgeous. Okay, you're all set, Tora said as she put Hinata in front of the mirror, reaching for the blindfold. Don't open your eyes until I say so, she said as she put the wig on her and then the extensions. Okay, get ready for a huge surprise, said Tora. Open them. Hinata did and stared into a mirror. Ah! Hinata freaked. Naruto Kyuen. Don't panic, Hina-chan, Tora said. Obviously he thinks you are extremely hot, so he wants to show you off. Hinata blushed. Just then they heard, Naruto. That sounded like Hagane-kun, Hinata said and went over to the boys' room. When they arrived at the boys' room, they saw Hagane dressed in a sleeveless, black bodysuit with a yellow harness strapped to his torso, gloves and boots. 2. He had his arms crossed and was tapping his foot. Hinata and Tora came into the room. He looked over to Hinata and his jaw dropped. The White Queen as a bleach captain? He asked. Hinata blushed and played with her fingers, looking down. Tora just grinned. Oh, she's not just any bleach captain. She turned her around and showed him the extensions and the symbol for the 2nd Division. She's Soifun-chan. Hagane just looked at the girls nonplussed. Emma Frost as Soifun? He asked. They nodded and he just sighed. Well, she's got body for it, he muttered, then looked at himself and sighed. I'm supposed to be either Ultimate Colossus or Movie Colossus, he explained. Well, Naruto always said you know more than he does about the steel body. Tora giggled. Where's Rai-chan? Said Hinata, then they heard her from behind them. The young woman was dressed in a black robe with a white underrobe, an armband tied to her left arm, tabi socks, sandals and her glasses. She was also holding a book, with her hair pinned up. 3. Who are you supposed to be? Hagane asked. A bleach lieutenant named Nanao Ic. Reiko answered. She's also the vice president of the Shinigami Women's Association. They all looked at Tora. It's your turn, Tora-chan, Hagane said. The girls smiled as Hinata pulled Tora back into her room. Right as they left, Rimaro walked out of his room. He was dressed a black shirt, a long dark trench coat, slacks, boots and shades. 4. Hagane just looked at his brother and laughed. Oh man, that is so cool, he said. Rimaro just sighed. Here we go, he mumbled. Come on. Say the line, Hagane said. Sigh. All right, Rimaro said. I know kung fu. Hagane and Reiko giggled. All right. It's your turn to try on your costume without you seeing it, Hinata said, a blindfold twirling in her hand. Tora just sighed. All right, you win, she said as Hinata placed it over her eyes. Hinata unzipped the bag and saw an orange jacket with white shoulder pads, an orange bodysuit with black stripes, a black bikini and a tail, orange and black face paint, yellow cat-like contacts, and black tights. 5. Okay, you need to take off all of your clothes. Even your underwear. Hinata said in a sultry tone, sending shivers down Tora's spine. What is wrong with her? Tora thought as Hinata helped her out of her clothes. She then took out the bodysuit and looked at the tiger girl. She first put on the bodysuit, the whole experience giving Tora goosebumps. Oh my! Hinata gasped. Well, she has the body for it, she thought. Then she started to help Tora with the bikini and tail. Okay, I'm going to take off the blindfold and put this face paint on you. Tora nodded as Hinata removed the blindfold and turned the girl from the mirror. It took several minutes to apply the sweat and waterproof makeup to the girl. Okay, I'm done, Hinata said. Just 2 more things, then I can let you see. She put a large blanket over Tora, so she wouldn't see how she was dressed. Hinata had also put a cover over the mirror so she couldn't cheat. Can you put on contacts? Sure thing, she said as she carefully put the contacts over her eyes. Okay, close them again. She did as Hinata slipped the jacket on her. Then Hinata snatched the cover off the mirror. Ready? Hinata asked as she put her robe over the tiger girl's shoulder. Yeah, I can't wait to see. What is my outfit? She asked as Hinata giggled. Tell you what, she said as she stood her up and in front of a huge mirror. Let me say this, your outfit is like mine and it suits your personality. What do you mean suits my personality? She said. Hinata chuckled. Why don't you open your eyes and see? Tora opened her eyes and screamed. Oh my God! She said she took a real good look at herself. I'm Tigra as Yorichi? Hinata giggled. Yep, you do have the body for it, after all, she said. Come on, let's show the others. When the pair went back to the boys' room, Hagane just chuckled. This is the first time she's worn more clothes than she's used to, Hagane said. The group laughed as Tora pounced on him. Right then Erasure walked in dressed in his outfit. What's so funny, guys? Erasure said. The others froze when they saw him. What? I look like Minato, don't I? They all nodded. Just then Rin walked in, causing everyone to gasp once they saw her. In their collective opinion, she was a freaking goddess. She was dressed in a jade green and black bodysuit with a golden phoenix in the shape of an upside-down triangle on her chest, a golden sash held by a small golden phoenix, golden gloves and knee-high boots. She also had on a long red wig and beautiful green contacts in her eyes. 6. Phoenix? Rimara gasped. Rin nodded. What do you think, guys? She asked. You look good, Rin-chan, Tora said. Just then they heard someone walking in the room. He was dressed in black motorcycle boots, black leather slacks, mesh shirt, red leather trench coat, black gloves, and his hair was bleached and dyed a silvery white. He had a huge sword on his back and a couple of guns and holsters on his chest. They looked at him in shock. And now are you two? Hinata gasped. He smirked that arrogant smirk and showed off his costume as he saw the others. First he went over to Rin. Wow, he said as he dropped to knees, bowing and scrapping to her. I'm not worthy. Rin giggled, then pulled the boy up and hugged him. Naruto looked over at Erasure. Whoa, you look just like father. How do you feel? I feel honored, Naruto, Erasure said. Naruto then looked at Reiko. You look great, he said to her. Like a hot librarian, he said as she blushed. Thank you, Naruto, she said. Naruto turned to Rimaru. Mr. Anderson, so nice to see you again, he said, causing Rimaru to sigh and the others to laugh. You look good as Neo, he said. I think I understand why you chose these outfits, Rimaru said to him. You tried to match up our personalities. Naruto nodded as he turned to Tora. I think I did a good job matching up the characters perfectly, Naruto said. Tigre is like you, Tora-chan, but when you get serious, you're like Yorichi. She smiled as she pounced onto him. YP! He cried out as she tackled him to the ground while everyone laughed. Thanks, Naruto, Tora said, helping him up after she nuzzled him a bit. Okay, again, as I said before, you're more used to being in a steel body form than I am. That's why I chose Ultimate Colossus for you. You also remind me of a badass. Oh, and you're not? Hagane asked. As badass as a guy who can bench press a submarine? You're Dante, Hagain snapped. They don't come any more badass than a guy who can nuke an entire mountain in one blast. Well, I thank you. Then he looked at Hinata. Well? What do you think, Hina-chan? I like what you are saying about me, Naruto. She said. I'm honored you think me as this powerful. Hina-chan, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Think about it. Both White Queen and Soifin are nobles, but they worked hard for what they got. So did you. That's why I got you this outfit. And I hope I'm not sounding like a pervert, but you do look really hot in this outfit. Hinata blushed as she shook her head. You're not. I'm flattered, she said. Oh good. I was a little worried about that, he said, then turned to the others. Hey, I was thinking. Why don't we keep the outfits on and get used to them? He said. The others looked at each other, shrugged and agreed, thinking how much fun this was going to be. Hey Emma, I didn't have breakfast. Would you like to join me for some lunch? He said with his arm held out to Hinata. She giggled and grabbed it. Why, it would be my pleasure, Dante, she said. The pair walked out of their room, heading to the restaurant. When the pair walked into the restaurant, Ino was already there. She'd seen them, watching them the whole time as they ate, but didn't know who they were. Oh my God! Who are they? Ino thought as they saw her and walked over to her after finishing their meal. Naruto was waving at her, but she still didn't recognize them. Do I know him? Good morning, Ino-chan, Hinata said as they continued on their way. Ino was going crazy as to who the two were. Arg! I just know this is going to drive me crazy, she screamed. Just then Naruto came back to her. Hey Ino? Are you alright? He asked. She looked at him, just staring into his eyes. Not trusting her voice, she just nodded. He smiled. Oh good. Hey, would you like to go with us to the costume party that's going on the night before the finals? Ino nodded her head so quickly he was afraid that she would break her neck. Okay, I'll get you a costume. Do you have any preferences? Naruto asked. Ino shook her head the same way. Alright then, I'll get you a costume, he said. You better come with us, Ino-chan, before you hurt yourself, Hinata said. Paying her bill, the attractive young blonde walked out with them. The trio walked into the Spell RS costume shop, but didn't see anyone right out. Hello? Is anyone here? Naruto shouted. Just then the wizard came out. Oh. Hello again, Naruto, he said, causing Ino to balk when she heard the name. What can I help you with? I was looking for a costume for my friend here, he said, indicating Ino. I was wondering if you had the MS Marvel one. The wizard smiled. Of course I do, if you'd follow me, miss. With some prompting from Hinata, Ino followed the wizard to where the costume was and then to one of the fitting rooms. About 10 minutes later Ino walked out. She was dressed in a black one-piece swimsuit with a yellow lightning bolt going down the front of it, black opera-length gloves, thigh-high boots, a red sash around her waist and a black domino mask over her eyes. Her hair was down and looked quickly brushed out. Dante and Emma looked over at her. Wow! They gasped. Do you like it? Ino asked. It's not too much, is it? Hell no! It's perfect, Naruto said as he softly kissed her on the cheek, causing her to blush while Hinata giggled. Wow, Carol, you've just been kissed by a devil, Hinata said as Ino looked at her. Hinata? She said, is that you? Finally! I was wondering when you were going to figure it out. Hinata grinned. And you're Naruto? She asked, finally coming out of her daze. That's right, Naruto said, paying for Ino's costume and another one he'd seen earlier. Nice to be recognized, he said. All right then, ladies. Shall we go? The pair smiled and took a hold of an arm as they walked out of the shop. Having already had lunch, Naruto, Hinata and Ino went looking for Anko. They had found her at her favorite eating joint. Hey Anko-chan, Naruto said. She looked over to him, looked him up and down and smiled. Well, hello gorgeous. She grinned. Is that you, Naruto? Yep, what do you think? He asked, letting her get a good look at his outfit. Wow, you look great, she replied. Thanks, he said, handing her a bag. Here. This is for you, he said. Giving me gifts already? She asked. What is it? Your costume, he replied. Costume? She asked. Yeah. We want you to come to the costume party with us. She started to unzip it, only to have Naruto stop her. I'd like to see you in it. She smiled at him and nodded. All right, she said and went into the bathroom to get changed. A few minutes later she came out wearing a tight black bodysuit, boots, gloves, golden bracelets and belt, an auburn wig on her head. Naruto Wolf whistled at her. Now that's impressive, he said. I think Naruto-kun's got a thing for superheroes, Ino whispered to Hinata. Can you blame him? Black leather, swimsuits, spandex? Hinata whispered back. Eventually the day of the costume party arrived, and every Kage, their guards and important people were coming to Konoha for the finals of the Chunin exams. Sarutobi himself had welcomed them all to Konoha, especially the group from New Whirlpool. After meeting with the Hokage, Kushina, Hinaru and Naruko went straight to their team's hotel to surprise them. But they were the ones who were about to get the surprise. When the trio walked into the hotel, there was a fight in progress. Team Whirlpool and their allies were fighting Root and Bu. Naruto was running backwards firing at an ANBU, hitting him in the head and heart, while dressed like a certain video game character. Kushina saw one of the Root members try to stab Hagain, only to have him transform into his steel body almost automatically. Then he started to charge him saying, Steel's special tech, Das Vidanya! Her eyes went wide as she watched her nephew cold cock the ANBU with a fairly light punch, but sent him flying through the walls like they were paper. She smiled, truly impressed. One ANBU was trying to kill Hinata. But as the kunai was about to strike her, she suddenly turned into living diamond, causing the kunai to just bounce off. Hinata rushed him and tagged him hard in the chest, putting her fist through him. Amazingly, he didn't die. Kushina just smiled as she stared at her apprentice. She had become far stronger than before, yet her killing restraint seemed to be her most outstanding characteristic. Next was Rimaru. He was going inhumanly fast, and just crushed his ANBU opponent against the wall of the hotel like a hockey player. Tora was basically kicking ass as if she was a dancer, agilely and gracefully leaping around the room to avoid being hit, then coming down hard to claw someone in the face. Reiko came in with a large book using it like a bat, slamming a couple ANBU like they were baseballs, then took out another ANBU with a what looked like a magic flash, as her hands seemed to be glowing. Erishur seemed to be everywhere at once, hitting ANBU from all sides. Finally, Rin was flying around like a flaming bird, dive-bombing to take out her ANBU group. She landed on her feet and turned to Naruto. I tell you these new abilities are awesome, Scott, she said to Naruto. What did you call me? Naruto/Dante asked. Scott. You are my lover, right? She asked with a smile. Oh, he thought. She sees me as Cyclops. Yeah, Jean. Sorry, he said, then heard Kushina. Are you guys alright? She asked, once all of the ANBU were either dead or unconscious. Naruto looked over and saw his mother. MOM, he said, Naru-chan. Ko-chan. She shouted as he ran over to them and gave them all a big hug. Naruto was hugging his mother and sisters tightly while they just stared at him. Hello, Naru-kun, Kushina said as she took a real good look at him. My son has grown up and he looks yummy, she said, walking around him, slowly taking in everything about him. I heard you made it to the finals. I am so proud of you, she said, hugging him again, right as an ANBU tried to attack her from behind. Naruto pulled out one of his guns and blew the ANBU's brains out of his head. Kushina turned around to see the dead ANBU, then back to Naruto as he apologized to the manager for the mess he and his team had created, then got his family's room keys. Meanwhile, Hinata was walking to see her father when she was suddenly grabbed onto by a woman. She was dressed in black bikini top armor, black briefs with armor, thigh-high boots, her arms covered in opera-length gloves, black and white plating with police car markings on them longer than the gloves with claws at the end of the armor, and wheels behind the claws. She had a crave with wheels over her shoulders, a headdress with long platinum blonde hair. Her red eyes gave her away. Kurenai-sensei? Hinata gasped. Hello, Hina-chan, the woman said. How are you? I'm fine, how are you? Proud. And a little disappointed, she said with a sigh. I don't understand, she said, confusion on her face. You made it to the finals. You defeated Niji. You're stronger and more confident than I could have ever made you, she said. I guess I'm feeling a little inadequate that I had no part to play in that. Sensei. I mean it, Hinata. I'm proud of the person you've become, but I'm disappointed that I wasn't the one to make you stronger than when I first met you. Hinata just stared at the older woman before pulling her into a tight hug. I may have been trained by someone else, but you were the one who started me out in this. I can't ever forget that, Hinata said as she hugged the woman. Kurenai just smiled as she gently stroked Hinata's long blonde hair. Meanwhile, Naruto had handed his mother and sisters their costumes. I got you something for the costume party. Please go put them on, he said. They took their costumes and went to get dressed. In Kushina's bag was a black robe, with a white sash and a pink scarf, tabi socks, sandals and a chain around her neck that went down into her deep cleavage. The sash had enhanced and lifted her bust line, giving her some rather gravity-defying assets. Oh my god! I'm as busted as Mom, she said as she stared into the mirror. Naruto walked in from the bathroom dressed in a pair of black slacks, boots, a white shirt, a black coat with gold trim held together with a black sash and a black choker. Wow, Mom, you look great, Naruto said. You don't look half bad yourself, Captain, she said. Does that mean I outrank you? She smirked to the busted Shinigami. Hinaru walked in, the pair looking at her as the girl was dressed in a black robe, a white sash, socks and sandals with a sword at her hip. Well, you look nice, Kushina said. Thanks, Mom, Hinaru said. Well then, girls, let's go show your brother how we look, the older woman said. The trio walked out of their rooms and headed down to where the others were. On their way, several other people couldn't help but stare at them. Men in the lobby, and a couple women, just stared at Kushina, running into walls and doors because they couldn't take their eyes away from her. Arisher met them in the hall, Wolf whistling when he saw her. Wow sis, you look great, he said. Thank you, Arisher, she said as she took in his appearance. And you look just like Minato. I know. Naruto picked out the costume. Speaking of whom, let's go show Naruto and the others. Nodding, the quartet left. Naruto was about to leave the hotel lobby when he froze, meeting Danzo himself. Do you know how many of my men you and your team have killed? He asked with increasing anger at the boy. Naruto just ran his fingers through his hair as if he was the character he was dressed as. Considering what they would have done to me and mine, I figured it was fair. Besides, if you'd shown up when we asked, we wouldn't have had to go through your messenger boys. Naruto said, also if you weren't such an ass, karma wouldn't have bit you in it. Danzo growled at the boy, mad at his attitude as well as the trouble he had given him. He lunged to attack the boy, only to be blocked by a long sword. Naruto and Danzo looked over to see a very busted woman in between them. Danzo couldn't help but look into her Grand Canyon, like cleavage. My eyes are up here, you old pervert, she said as she lifted her sword, raising his head, and he was shocked to see it was Kushina. Are you alright, Naruto-kun? He smiled, just peachy. Mama bear. She looked over to him with a weird look on her face. Mama bear? She repeated. He gave her sheepish grin. She chuckled and shook her head. Then she brought her attention back to Danzo. Why do you want Naruto? Surely it's not just as a weapon for Konoha. It's for you, isn't it? So that you could embarrass my husband's spirit. Because he always overturned your orders, she said, seeing Danzo getting mad. Oh, so now you're getting mad, huh? You have no right to get mad about what I am saying, because you know it's true. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have tried to kill me. Danzo had had enough and moved to attack her. Naruto saw him and was about to move, when he felt someone in his head. No love, we have him, the voice said. It was Rin. Just then Danzo was hit with a huge flaming bird's claw, slamming him into a wall. Just as he was about to get up, he was hit in the neck by a flying dart. Knocked cold, a new group of people emerged from the shadows. Take him to the dungeon, Sarutobi said to some loyal ANBU. Well, I see you found Naruto, he said to Kushina, doing his best not to stare at her cleavage. Kushina actually found it sweet that the old man still had some respect. Though the real reason was that he was trying not to get launched through the air via nosebleed. Sarutobi looked at Naruto. I'm impressed, you look alright, he said to the boy. Thanks, Ji-san, he said as Kushina, Rin, Naruto, Hinaru and Arisher stepped out of the shadows. The others had stayed back to let Kushina deal with Danzo. They figured she had more right to it than most others. It was the day after the party, which had been a blast, and it was time for the finals. However, thanks to a crazy spell, everyone stayed in their costumes. So almost all of the fighters were dressed up as their characters from last night. A few of them thought they were who they were dressed up as, and some of them still knew who they were but now had their characters' powers and knowledge. Everyone had arrived at the arena, except Sasuke. He better show if wants back up that big talk he said last month, thought Naruto. He's late, one of the clan had said. No kidding. Who was his sensei? Hatake Kakashi. Oh, for crying out loud! Sarutobi groaned. Very well. We'll start without them. But we should wait for the Uchiha heir, one of the clan heads interrupted. He'll be put up as the last match, against Naruto. And I don't feel like waiting for that cycloptic fool, he said. Our first match of the day will be Hinata Hyuga and Higane Uzumaki. Hinata and Higane, still dressed up as White Queen and Colossus, stepped into the arena and faced each other. Their fight started out simple enough, both of them just getting a feel for the other, as punches and kicks flew with both grace and strength. That's when things got crazy. Alright, Hina-chan, let's show them what we can do, he said as he went full metal. Hinata just smiled, giving him a small bow before she turned her body into living diamond. From the stands, Hayashi, Niji, and Hanabi were in shock. What's going on, father? Said Hanabi. Is that a part of our bloodline? I don't think so, dear, Hayashi said. Hinata and Higane suddenly rushed forward and struck each other, their impact creating a sudden shockwave. Everyone hang on to something, Hayashi shouted as the blast hit the crowd. Meanwhile, in the epicenter, Hinata and Higane were slugging it out like a couple of prize fighters for a championship belt. Higane came in, throwing heavy sledgehammer blows onto the girl's head, the girl herself throwing back punches and kicks with calm